Okay, folks, we'll call this meeting of the Board of Appeals to order. First of all, we have a little bit to take care of on our own up here. Gentlemen, who was out to see the properties before us tonight? No one has. Did you speak with anyone regarding the variance requests before us tonight?
No.
And does any of you anticipate abstaining from any vote?
No.
Don, I think I might abstain from item 3.
All right.
I work for a company that was involved in a transaction, and we might still have financing in that property, so
Okay.
I think I'll abstain from number 3.
All right, so noted, thank you. Regarding the agenda, we have a large agenda tonight. I propose that we take it in the order here. I know that for our purposes, we have an item E that gets into some of the revisions to the process and application. I prefer to do that next time when we have less commotion and less amount of stuff on
I agree with that. I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the modification.
All right. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And regarding the minutes from the last meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the May 20th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're ready to go. Paul, do you want to explain item number 1? Is there anything we particularly need to do in that?
Not necessarily. I talked to the applicant. He chose to withdraw his request. He didn't want to pursue it any further at this point, so he didn't have any other alternatives, I guess, to
Yeah.
his original request. So
Right.
he'll find a separate or another location for his detached garage. I guess it's a simple withdrawal.
Okay. Okay, we will so note that Mr. Coleman has withdrawn his application from a couple of meetings ago. All right, I guess we're ready to get into the meat of the business. Is Ms. Zepnik here?
Yes.
Front and center, would you come up and make your case?
Sit down here.
Yes, you may.
Won't be too hard.
Oh, we'll work. We'll just try to be gentle.
I would like to tear down the existing garage that I have and expand it to 26 wide by 35, by 38 feet long.
And what it does is, we made the new garage just so it's under 1,000 square feet, but the house is still, the footprint of the house is still smaller than that. So I guess that's,
Yeah,
all we really wanted.
the footprint is 880 and the garage would be 9,
It was just under.
under, yeah, it was under 1,000.
988 is what your
Yeah.
application has.
Yeah,
But we just need more space. We're getting 2 families together now.
yeah, we're combining 2 families, Jim and I are.
We need, like I say, more car space, more, like to have a little space in the back or a little tiny shop where I can do something where there's just no room without putting anything now. And when this garage is done, it's gonna look a lot better than this old crappy garage that's
Well, it's
there, you might
66
say.
years old. The floor is starting to break up in it.
Yeah,
The concrete is starting to fall. It had the old wood doors on it with the windows. I put brand new doors on the garage, just to try to make a little bit more of an appeal to my property. And it's just so old, and the back of it, the prior owners tried to sandblast off the paint, and it's just
It's stucco, it's just that old stucco.
stucco garage.
And then we'll end up putting typical vinyl siding and roofing on it.
And I have the plans. Where's my next plans, John?
Excuse me just a second. Folks, if you have a conversation amongst yourself, perhaps you could take it out in the hall. Many of the folks would like to hear what's going on up here, so they can anticipate Oh, it's gonna be for them later on.
Here's the plan.
So you intend to, you would like to replace a garage with a slightly bigger one?
Correct.
The distance that this new garage would have from the lot line, at least as you're proposing it here, is the same as,
The other one,
yeah, so you aren't changing that.
right.
So there's really, it's just this bigger than the footprint of the house issue.
Exactly.
That's the only concern.
That's the only issue.
Well, I was looking at this and, you know, it seems like we go around this all the time, but 13615B, that talks about, in no case shall the total floor area of an attached garage, applies to attached.
Does it say attached and detached?
I don't see that.
It may say that also in 613, which is just above that. It talks about the accessory use being subordinate to the principal use.
All right, so that is the basis by which you're,
One or both, yes.
And this, if I may say, this shed that's behind the garage, there's a wood floor in it, and it's getting soft, and it's just all run down, and it doesn't look very good
A
at all.
Rapid Haven.
It just, when it's done, everything will look a lot nicer.
okay. Noel, Jim, Greg, Tommy, you have questions of the applicant?
I just had one. Have we talked about this, or is it just deja vu for me?
It's
You
probably
you haven't come back,
deja
this isn't like a revisit of something that we talked about a year ago or something?
vu. No, it's a deja vu.
Although I did put up a garage
No.
at a different place a few years ago.
We get a lot of these, so it's hard to keep them straight
I
sometimes.
even have a little video if you want, you know, I mean, to see what the side of it is and where that would come if you wanted.
Well, you can see it pretty plainly on the thing.
Yeah.
If you want me to, you know, point out anything on there, just let me know.
I'm referring to your drawing where you have,
Mhm.
you show the driveway right up to the lot line, is that correct?
Yeah, this was for the 40, we wanted to go 44
Yeah, the
foot.
driveway is, that's the lot line, and the driveway now is all blacktop, right here, all the way up to here.
Yeah. But the driveway goes to the lot line.
And the
No,
driveway,
there's like 5 inches
yeah,
to the lot
there's just
line,
like
yeah.
this much to the
Oh, all right.
lot line.
And then there's a fence that we have that
Yeah,
it
the
runs.
fence, there's a fence that goes all the way down this side, and all the way down this side to this point, or this point here. And this pink, this is all concrete, this is all blacktop. This red line is the new garage,
Which would now only be 38
red line
feet.
on the outside. This is the existing garage in here, and this is the little shed in the back there. So we're only extending it this far and bringing it out like 2.5 feet or whatever.
So you're in a position where your new garage isn't too big, 'cause your existing house is too small.
Right.
According to the terms. of the-
Yeah.
And you know, I mean,
Yeah.
inside I have 1,500 square feet, but the base of the
It's just,
house.
and this is a typical house where they only have 52 feet up front, so that's another problem why the house is small, got a small footprint.
Is the back of your house, the back of your lot, that's some sort of road there?
No,
What is that?
it's an apartment garages.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
the people, the Pauls that own the property for the 66 years before me, have always used that. And when it was sold to me, they said that my property extended down to where that garage was.
But it actually doesn't.
But it
There's-
actually
I
doesn't, but
checked
no
out-
one maintains it but me.
I checked it out, and there's still like, I think, 12 feet to the bricks on that wall. So they,
The way they have it.
they still got 12 feet on the bottom.
No, but
You know,
they-
way on the bottom, which, you know, we might plant a garden or something there, because nobody uses it for anything anyway.
Yeah, it's all
But-
fenced
but-
in.
but I'm still 11 feet from our lot line, besides another 12 feet to that building.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So we're plenty far away from that
Sure,
building.
yeah.
And
That's
this-
at the back of the building.
That's the
Right,
back,
yeah.
it's just a concrete block.
Yeah.
Question that may have was covered, and I apologize if it was. What's the need for this, the total size, right? Because
Well-
you're replacing the shed, the garage,
Right.
and
We are-
building an additional.
By the time we replace the two of them,
It doesn't, we're not even asking. We're combining our households.
Yep.
And Jim has storage trailer, his pickup, he's got a T-bucket, we've got a motorcycle, I've got my vehicle, and there's no way we can, you know, I don't want to inconvenience neighbors by trying to cut my corner and get them into the backyard, which you can't do anyway. And I don't want to have to sit and call and have overnight parking on Fisk Street every night,
Right.
you know.
So is it,
So, and-
when you combine, is it gonna be 2 vehicles and then other extraneous things in there?
Yeah, the
possibly,
trailer
yes.
will go in and my car will go in and.
and it may be a project vehicle or
His-
something like that.
his
'Cause I like
T-bucket is-
tinkering. I'm disabled, but I gotta try to do something, because I don't wanna lay on the couch all day.
You know, so
Yeah,
he's
in the
tinkering on his
5 years.
T-bucket.
Yeah.
You know, and just a little workshop, you know, I mean, even though I was single, I had all my own tools, you know, and,
Just someplace we can put all our garden stuff and something in the back to, so we can tinker with something when we
Right.
want to. Plus, we got more room for cars in the front, that's all.
Okay.
I see the dimensions on that, and they're different than what's on this. It looks like you had a bigger garage and then you shrunk it to get below 1,000 feet on your...
correct.
Okay, so you've already taken kind of an iterative step to make it more,
Yeah.
You know,
This
less
isn't
than
exact-
1,000
this-
feet.
Yeah,
Right.
this isn't all exactly the
Right.
scale.
okay.
anymore.
And I noticed on, you have calculations in here for your lot coverage and permeability, and
Yes.
it's using this case, not the better case where you shrunk it, so it's actually better than what you show here. I guess,
Okay.
Yes, all these
Okay.
measurements are actual,
okay,
even though it might, even this is not the size, but.
To scale.
To scale, I mean, but the numbers are all correct.
right. I think the one number you have to change is that one. This, because you shrunk this.
Right.
This has to be enlarged. The green space has to be enlarged a little bit.
I could check that, but I'm pretty sure that that's 11 feet, but that's 11 feet to the lot line.
Right, but
And
that's
then
using
there's-
44 feet?
Yeah, but that
And
was
you're
the
doing
44.
38 feet now?
Oh, yes, yes.
So,
I'm sorry.
so you've already shrunk
Right,
your
right.
proposed garage, okay? So.
Oh, yeah.
This is gonna rule. Just
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're approving, if we approve it, this would be the approved.
I see,
Okay.
because that's 38, yes,
Right.
I understand.
Okay.
That would be more than 11 feet then, yes.
Yes.
You got me.
Okay. Well,
It should be 17 feet then,
right, yeah.
another 6 feet.
Okay, have we questioned these people enough?
Sorry about that.
It's all right, we're not looking for gotchas. You guys can return to your seat. Yes, ma'am, you want to speak?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
The backyard slopes down, and we're not here to stop the project at all, just don't get us wrong. But the backyard slopes down. From the front of the driveway to the back, you're gonna be dropping about 18 to 20 inches. Our concern is drainage into our yard.
Okay.
Because when
It
you,
will all be
our
built.
garage itself is, when you come back, it's up, the cement,
This is
the
their
foundation
property
is
here.
about 18 or 20, I'm sorry I didn't measure it, but it's roughly 18 or 20 inches high. So if they're bringing fill in to come back to the backyard, I don't want to have drainage. I've got enough problem with drainage in our backyard, we do it ready. And I couldn't have a garden this year because of so much water. Granted, we had a very rainy season. But I just want to make sure I'm not going to have a pool in my yard. Right now, if you walk in our backyard, it's still very, very soft.
And she does, because the neighbors have a swimming pool.
Can I speak?
Yes, you may.
Excuse me for a second.
Yes, sir.
All I actually want is maybe a gutter on it and angle it away from our driveway.
just to make sure it's not gonna go to our backyard.
That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be.
I'd like to just mention one other thing, if you could put that, leave that up there. Right now, as long as they mention things here, they got a hose that comes out of their house here and the sump pump, or it might be the gutter, comes actually onto our property and stops right about here. And
Oh, no, you're wrong.
area wet.
You're
Well, I
absolutely
don't
wrong.
think, I don't want us to get involved with inter-neighbor discussions.
I'm just saying that might be why there's a wet area there.
Jim,
there's-
you
if
haven't
there's a
lived there long
drainage
enough
issue,
that there
yeah.
has been a flood area every year.
If there's a drainage issue, that's something that's outside of the scope of what
Forget
we're
it, doesn't have it.
addressing.
There won't be any drainage problems. I guarantee it.
Okay, if you guys could have a chair, we'll get back to where we were.
Everything will be fine.
Just for point of clarity, the principal structure is 880, and then if it was 879, no need for a variance, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I guess all we're asking for is for a few more square feet, which isn't much. Thank you.
Great, something must have gone past me. It's not 988?
No, he's.
No, I'm just,
If this were 879, they would.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right, got it. Well, the problem that I see here is the in no case. And Paul is right, I guess. The detached structure, which this is, which is 13615C, doesn't mention anything about this being subordinate to the size. Paul is correct that up at 613, there is the implication that the accessory structure shall be subordinate in area, extent, and purpose to the principal use or structure served. I guess for my purposes, I'm okay until we get to the words in no case. And I guess I offer that to the board as to how much do we pay to those words? Because if we pay attention to those words, I don't see how we can grant a variance. It seems as if the ordinance has been written to not allow any wiggle room on this notion of total floor area. That's the position that you're taking.
I think we always like to feature the principal structure first, the home, and then the accessory use is just that, it's accessory to the principal use. So we don't want to see that mismatch, so to speak, from a code perspective.
So I guess just as for my purposes, if it said the total floor area of an attached garage, carport, or other accessory structure shall not exceed the ground floor area, if it just said that, then I would say that we're within our bounds to grant a variance, but the in no case is what bothers me, so.
I got maybe a different take on that, Don.
Okay, good.
Or Mr. Chairman. Can we do his first names? Or do we-
Whatever you want.
That's my title, then.
I think that, so Paul, if the owners of this home wanted to put a little addition on the back and add 120 square feet to this house, they've got plenty of lot area, plenty of permeable surface, all those sorts of things, that'd be approved, no problem, right?
Well, I think they're getting close to the impervious coverage, but in theory, sure.
And so if they added 120 square feet to their house, they'd be able to get the permit for the garage that they're seeking right now without even coming to our attention, because it would be conforming.
Administrative.
So, in this case, the enforcement, if they really want the garage, says we're telling them, okay, the only way you can get the garage you want is if you put an addition on your house. And I think that's the sort of thing, the hardship, we're creating a hardship by saying to them, look, you know, in order to comply, you've got to take on 2 large construction projects, not just putting up a new garage and replace a decrepit one, but you've also got to put an addition on your house to build a garage. I think that you know, that's the sort of thing that we're tasked with looking at and evaluating here. And I don't think, you know, if they want to live in 880 square feet, I think that's great. This is a kind of conventional garage size, you know, maybe 24 by 36 be a little bit more conventional, but I'm not going to, you know, quibble over 2 feet in either dimension. and just say, look, let's do this, and because we're on a street where a whole host of fairly small houses were built at one point, nobody'd be building an 880 square foot house, there now, right? They'd all be 1,200 at the minimum, if not larger footprints, which would mean that this would be a non-issue. So I think, to grant the variance here to create a fairly conforming garage on a typical lot that, prevents them from having to do an additional home construction project in order to get the garage they want. I'm prepared to support that, with the caveat that they put a gutter on the
Yes.
south side of that garage.
Yes, there are gutters all the way around the
And
garage.
direct that water onto their lot as opposed to into area that might cause stress to the neighbors.
So you're in favor,
Yeah, I think we can,
on the basis of your argument?
yeah.
For me, it's a no, just because the hardship is self-imposed, as per, what we've gone through. The garage size, if reduced by 6 feet somewhere, will fit with under the 880. That's why I asked the question. You can get to 735 if you take off 1.5 feet somewhere, 2 feet off. So I think they can build what it is they need by reducing this footprint enough to get them under the 880. And so if we approve it, we're allowing them to self-impose a hardship on top of them. I think the lot allows them to do a good-sized garage. Is it as big as they'd like? No, I mean, we see people all the time that would like things bigger, but the goal is to enforce.
And a 24 by 36 garage is probably.
It fits, they can go bigger than that, actually. Yeah, I think I measured, it was 26 by 33.5? You know what I mean? So you're looking at 4.5 feet somewhere, whether it's this way or this way, and you're still fit. I think you could do, the footprint was good. That's why for me, it's not a hardship.
Greg? Where do you guys stand on this?
I'm leaning towards no for approval simply because you're building over an existing garage and they're only adding a little bit to it in a sense, probably like 20% to the existing garage, and that kicks them into this world because the house is smaller than that. It's kind of a small lot, small house, and I think that may have been written in it can't, those recommended laws can probably service almost everything except these exceptions, and I think this is, in my mind, it's clearly an exception because of, they're trying to just, the fact that this house is small means they kind of need more space with their garage. I mean, two-story house. So I'm saying, I see that hardship. And it is the hardship for the property, you know what I'm saying? It's a building and a building on a specific property. Whatever we vote on will go with that property, and I think this is what we're here for, this thing.
All right, so you're on board with granting the variance?
Yeah.
What do you think, Greg?
I mean, yes, I think that there is a hardship. The size of the house is a very small footprint. And I agree with Noel's reasoning about what are we gonna create, to have them be able to have a garage that they can use. Yeah, just the location of it, it's putting it up against the back of the lot where it's already got enough room. They're agreeable to put in the gutter and so forth to alleviate the neighbor's concern. I don't see the ordinance as saying we can never do that. I see that as that's what we're here for. A lot of ordinances say we can't do this or that, and so the variance, and that's how I interpret the ordinance piece of it. So I'm yes.
Actually, you're right, Vince. I'm gonna go with the yes.
No, quick question for you. And you do a lot of development. When you're building a new garage, what are standard sizes that are?
What's coming to my mind is 24 by 36, but I mean garages or whatever you want to build.
Right, but I'm just saying for comfort, like if I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
park 2 cars in there, what depth do I need to have a lawnmower or something? It's not 38 by 26, right?
No, it's a little odd, but.
And that's, again, if I'm a losing battle, I've done this before where I'm the no and I'll move on. I don't want to, we got a long night. But I think a comfortable garage, right, at 24 by 36 or 34
Yes,
or
is
whatever.
164 square feet.
It gets them where they need to go, and there's no variance needed, and we're there. So I think there's an opportunity to say no. If there's 4 yeses, then, you know, you need 3 people. So,
I should make a motion to deny Tommy.
that's always, I always feel like that's the
Yeah,
inverse.
we'll let the applicant have one last word here.
If it's gonna, if I gotta go down to 24 feet, I probably won't even do it then.
No, we won't be able to fit the trailers.
We won't,
Our
the
trailer,
size, the size of
The
everything
length.
that we wanna put in won't fit in there unless it's 26 feet wide.
And the depth, you wouldn't be able to come down 3
Because-
feet, the depth?
A truck is 20 feet long, and by the time you put 2 vehicles there, if you put 2 trucks in, that's 48 feet. 2 trucks won't even fit in one side, end to end.
And I appreciate
Because it's
those
stacked.
comments, but, you know, I've been pretty consistent since I've been on this, that, you know, choice of vehicles, you know, those are all self-imposed. So,
It's probably worthy of a,
You're not doing that. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the requested variance with the requirement that a gutter be installed on the garage and on filtering the water onto your property.
Yes.
I'll second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Nay.
3-2, you're good.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Patechki. Did I say that even close to right? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself from this because we sold this house to orphan neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right, appreciate that. No, we do put it down to 4. It's still, you still need to get 3, so just so you're aware.
Thank you.
All righty, what do you got?
Well, I'm looking to put a garden shed in here. I'm looking to hopefully get a variance on the side setback 4 feet. And there's a couple of reasons for it. One of it is when our house was moved there for neighborhoods, they put a pretty stiff grade on the foundation. And this is before we even bought it. So if I were to move that shed 4 feet off the fence line, I'd be right in the snap of the grade. And I would not put it on the gravel or sand. My whole purpose for putting up a garden shed is to get all the gas stuff out of the garage. I want to get all my gas tanks, my lawnmower, my snow blower, my leaf blower, my weed eater, all that stuff out of the garden shed, along with our garden shed. So,
Is there a garden shed there now?
there is no garden shed. I have like one of those plastic greenhouses. Pretty much an eyesore.
So this is the property here, this is the garden.
Yes.
Proposing the shed just north of the garden here.
Yes. Yeah.
What, you want to go right up to the lot line?
I want to go right up to the lot line, and there's a couple reasons for that. One of them is that grade that comes off the west side of our home. But the other one is, quite frankly, if you go 2 houses down, there was a huge rat problem. I do not want to give any space between a building and a century fence for debris to gather. And I know that the setback is there to fit a lawnmower in. I can understand that 4 feet won't get in there with a lawnmower. The other thing is, we've been there 6 years. Our house has been shot 3 times. And the police tackled a guy in our yard carrying a gun. I really don't want to have a place for people to hide. I mean, the gun was found in my neighbor's yard by my kid the next day.
So there's a fence there now.
There's a century fence, yeah.
Chain link fence?
That's right. Yeah.
And that's the only issue here, right? All the other sizes and dimensions and issues are...
Side yard setback 4 feet.
Have you talked to the neighbor at all? Did they have any issues with it being up against the
Not at
fence?
all, yeah. Tom Stazik, he said, no issues whatsoever. Putting the fence line. And it would be 40-year asphalt shingles and 40-year vinyl siding. Part of the maintenance of it.
Have you looked at any other alternative places for it?
I have,
That's one of the
yeah.
things we ask is,
I definitely have. There's the southwest corner I looked, which would be on the south side of the garden. The problem with that is if you look down our alley, I am the passing lane, which I don't really like, but it is. So I could take away the passing lane and put a shed there.
Help me visualize that.
Because our driveway is so wide where it is, when
Yep.
we have two-car traffic, there's no way for one to pass the other unless you get out of the alley. People get out of the alley by coming through my yard into my driveway and then through the other side of my yard.
Oh, really?
So I could put a shed there,
Got it,
but that would,
got it.
Actually, there may also be a visibility issue then too, if you put the shed there.
it might be after pulling out of the driveway, absolutely. I didn't even think of that, but.
And the grade, just so I'm understanding, so I want to make sure I understand what you're talking about, because we can't necessarily see it. It comes off of the house, that doesn't allow you to go near the house.
That's correct, yeah.
As we're talking about. So going away from the house, you can't go like up against the house.
No, because when they poured that foundation, they poured it in order to make an 8-foot finished ceiling in the basement.
Got it. Okay.
Jim, questions?
We bought the house, it's a high-impact neighborhood. We bought the house. You know, kids all over the neighborhood play at our house. We are the family in the neighborhood that gives a crap. So, it's not the best neighborhood. Ken's getting shot 3 times.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Jim, you okay with the questions?
I guess I'm still thinking of the grade. Where's the high?
Right at the foundation of the home. And then it
The home's
slopes.
up?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and it slopes towards the alleyway?
Towards the east and the west.
Oh,
So yeah, so what you have your grade backfilled here to the foundation, sloping away, sloping away.
okay. Gotcha. All the way north-south, if you don't mind?
Yes, yeah, yeah. Even all the way through the driveway, because they had to obviously grade the driveway up to the garage.
Do you know how far the garage or the lot line is to the driveway? Like how much is there?
I don't know.
Because on your drawing, we have all the measurements, I just don't have the
Yeah.
driveway.
I don't have that on here.
And again, just so you know kind of what I'm angling to ask is, these guys know, I'm always looking for, the land is what creates the hardship, right? So in the previous case, it wasn't necessarily, informed me, in my perspective, that, in this sense, I'm trying to say, okay, the slope, unless we tell you to dig up your whole home, that house is a structure, right? And that's creating hardship based on how they put the slope in, because the land is creating this opportunity for you to put it somewhere else. So I'm trying to find alternatives. Are there other alternatives? So if you go 4 feet away from the fence towards the driveway,
Yeah.
besides being slightly awkwardly out of place, can it fit there? Or what's the point of view of saying, okay, move it 4 feet
It's still-
closer?
It still wouldn't, it would be far enough away from my garage to not fail an ordinance.
Mhm.
But I would be so far into that slope, even at the property line.
Even at the driveway line, not
Yeah.
the house? So
Yeah.
the driveway even slopes up a
That's
little bit?
correct, yep. The
Copy.
driveway slopes, it slopes up towards the garage, but then also east to west off. the
Copy,
driveway.
that's what I'm, okay, cool. I'm good.
Okay, okay, sir, if you could have a seat, we'll
Thank you.
deliberate softly amongst ourselves.
Thank you.
I mean, I'll go quick, I think I was angling for, to me, this fits the hardship, you know, the alternatives necessarily, there's not a ton of alternatives. Besides the setback, he'd be able to do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
So I'm a thumbs up.
Okay, I'm okay with this.
Okay, I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested for the party at 723 Madden. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Someone's gonna get a null. I'll read it.
So we probably could blame Noel on that. Huh? He's responsible. He sold the house.
Good job.
We were saying it was your fault.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. That was a house move.
It was. Oh, okay, then it definitely was your fault. All right, before we go any further, I guess we should, instead of deliberating amongst ourselves, we have Mr. Hireman of Hireman Construction. The property on Ontario Road. Yes, sir. You want to come up and make your case? And I see Alderperson Corpus Dax is here to defend your, do you have anything that you want to say on this?
Not at the moment.
Okay, very good. Just wanted to alert the fact that you're here. Okay, sir, if you could make the case on why you need a variance for that property on Ontario Road.
We've got a growing business, and we're looking at adding on some more parking into this operation. But the number one reason is we've got some truck traffic that comes into the docks right here.
So, and this is your driveway right now?
This is the driveway right now. As you can see in this dotted area right here, that's the existing drive. And we got the parking coming up into this area as it shows. And we want to bring the parking back to this line right here. It kind of comes, just so you see these dotted lines, that's how it is existing. This is green space.
Okay.
We want to bring that parking back, and the main reason is we want to dig this drive out to 55 feet as we show. And so we can get the people out of here and then still have truck that comes in. Because sometimes the trucks will come in and they'll be backed up and there'll be one all of a sudden sitting right here. And we want to be able to get the people out of here and in here. And we felt that the drive would be would alleviate all that congestion.
Okay.
We also looked at adding a parking lot, and we might do that later in life on this area. And we looked at putting a drive here to alleviate some of that congestion, but we also have Jaeger coming into here. And I talked to Paul beforehand, and he said that the highway department would not like a drive in that area. So we abandoned that thought and then came up with a new parking back here and then to extend this drive over. That makes a long story short.
So when you say get people out of here, so it'd be two-way, meaning people can go in and out at the same time, is that what you're saying?
And one of them being a very large truck.
Yes, one of them would be in trucks. That's the
Okay.
big thing. If it was all car traffic, it probably wouldn't be that bad.
Okay.
But they do get deliveries and, obviously going out on this also.
Okay.
They are a manufacturer.
Sure.
So on this one, which is the current site, that extra little rectangle that's on the bottom right, where that parking is, that would all be removed and moved down, so you'd have an actual square. Does that make sense?
Correct.
And that's where the cloud-ish, the bubbled.
Yes.
So that's the section that's and that's gonna move down. You're gonna still have cars parked there, but then you have a clean lane going in and out and with, got it.
Yes.
Just making sure I track with,
That's exactly right.
against what it is. Okay,
That's exactly right.
cool. Thank you.
And the code would say he doesn't need to make it 55, he only needs 35, right?
At the curb opening.
Okay. Other questions for the gentleman?
What's the current width? Is it 35 right now?
It probably complies, yes. 25, 35.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Is this one?
No, that's an existing drive, an old residential, and we're looking at bringing the trucks back here to build this drive, to build this parking lot.
So this is if anything, a future, or?
No, that's existing right now.
Okay. So you haven't talked about bringing trucks in over here in some fashion?
No,
You said this was from the old days of residential?
there was a residential property right here. And this is sitting in here as existing.
All right.
I just showed it because it's
Got it.
there.
Now I understand, because it shows up pretty clearly up there.
Yes, it does. You can see it exactly up there. It was an old residential property.
Yeah.
They cleared the house, but the drive is still there, and the
curb
curb cut is still there.
Further questions of the applicant? Okay, sir, if you could have a seat.
Thank you for your
Thank
time,
you.
everyone.
There's no sidewalks,
Industrial section.
industrial section.
Very
so there's no
industrial.
plan. Okay.
I'm okay with this.
Perfectly fine.
We've had a slew of let's widen industrial driveways for semi-traffic. I think this is consistent with all of those requests. I don't have any problem with this.
Yep, motion to approve.
Second.
Before I go any further, is there anyone who would like to speak
Oh, yeah,
for
sure.
or
Oops,
against this? All right, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested for the property on Ontario Road. All in favor?
Aye.
We have 5-0. You've got your variance.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Next up, Mr. Yonkel and Ms. Johansson. Hi. I assume you're Mike.
I'm the contractor.
You're the contractor guy, all right. We don't have Mike or Lori. All right, I'm sure that you can carry the day.
Pinch hitting.
All right. You want to put in another building on this property.
Yep, want to build a garage. There's a curb cut on LaPlante Street. Almost where that 80 was. And it's a big house and a big lot and a tiny garage existing. It's inadequate for what they're trying to do there. House has been in the family for 100 years, I guess. Great grandpa built it, and it's a beautiful house. It's just,
So they're using the driveway off of University,
Yep.
and the only garage they have now is that small one up at the top. They want to put another one in and another driveway.
correct.
Okay. You immediately run into a problem with Paul because the second one's too big. Is that right?
Or the first one's too big.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
either one, yeah. There's two detached accessory structures. The first one can be up to 1,000. The second one can only be up to 150, so they're exceeding that second one, I guess.
Okay. So the question somebody's going to ask you is, have you considered just one garage and getting rid of the other one?
Behind the existing garage, it drops off pretty rapidly. And that would be difficult to do there.
Are we looking east here from the
We're looking east, it's not the best picture, but that's the
Okay,
street
well, we
view.
can get an idea of the grade, it's coming down, it looks like that right around where the tree is, the big tree is, it's going down.
The curb cut is just to the left of the big tree.
All right,
This is a
so,
little better.
so why can't you take the old garage down?
Because behind it, this doesn't show it that well. That's a better picture than what we had on the screen.
Is the garage up in?
Directly
The
behind.
house, this isn't that house, is it? Or is it?
Yes.
This is the uncle house here?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a
It's a
garage over in here
Yep.
somewhere.
It's a lot higher up than the rest of the lot.
Yeah. And so that lot goes all the way, it's a big lot. It goes all the way, almost to that driveway on the far right.
Okay, I still don't understand. I'm sorry if I'm slow. Why can't you take down the old garage?
I guess we could take down the old garage, but building a new one, we would have about a 5-foot drop to deal with.
No, I mean for just, you would just put in the new garage
Where
that
you're
you're
proposing
proposing
it, but
and
take.
tear down the old one. So
Oh,
then you don't have a problem.
I see what you're saying. It wouldn't be adequate room.
Okay, once again, we're into the room issue. You need, the applicant would claim that he needs all the space and more. And deed, that's why he's proposing to build a garage. Is this the argument?
Yep.
Okay. Further questions?
Have they thought about, again, always about alternatives that fit? If it's a space issue, right, and you don't need a secondary structure, you can go bigger, it sounds like, based on property lines, and get a bigger garage than 20 by 24, correct? Because that's what you currently have it at, right, is 20 by 24?
20 by 24, yes.
So you can go bigger, up to 400 square feet bigger, and still be under the 1,000 feet. And in doing that, you would probably be able to draw it out and not have any setback issues. I mean, we're theorizing right now, but there is an alternative solution with one structure versus two.
It would be expensive. They wouldn't be able to afford to do the project at all. The existing garage matches the house, which, we've done some work on the historic houses in Astor Park, and this is all of that and more. So we were trying to leave that alone and build this so that it doesn't fight with that.
When you say historic, so what are you saying? That's kind of interesting to me.
The house inside, you can't believe, this guy has all the woodwork is intact. It looks like it would have looked 100 years ago. Everything is
Like
perfect.
the garage and stuff looks unique, or what? The existing one?
The existing garage, yeah, looks,
Like what, so what, explain that.
I'm trying to write. It's bungalow-like.
Okay. So it has some, like, it wouldn't just,
It's probably original to the house.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they wouldn't want to take it down because of that?
right.
Okay.
Okay, so the Yonko property would have been here long before the development, further development of the University Ave. In fact, it's probably their properties that are developed to the east of it, originally part of their, is this an old homestead or an old farm?
I'm not sure
Okay.
if it was a farm. It was, I guess, great-grandpa built it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he lived across the street.
yeah, I didn't look at it, but we do have those old aerial photographs, so I suppose we would say. But you also say in your application that you own the property next to it. That I didn't understand. Is it the one to the left, or is it the one behind, or?
Well, I guess what I meant was the property is large. You can see compared to the other properties around there. We wouldn't be crowding it with structures.
Yes.
Is what I was getting at.
But you said the homeowner owned the property next, adjacent, and I wasn't sure which one it was.
Well, when you look at it from LaPlante Street, it looks like two separate lots, but
Oh,
when
I
I see
see.
your map
Alright.
here, it is lot 80.
Okay, I see. You're saying it's a real big lot, and it looks like it's an adjacent. So
Yep.
your point was that there wasn't an elbow room problem.
Right.
There's plenty of room to put this in.
And the setbacks would be fine too.
Any questions? Okay, sir, if you could have a seat. We may have more questions, but I think we have enough to get going for a while here. So we've got a different situation where we don't have the 1,000 square feet problem. So to some extent, the applicant is could claim him, he hasn't done anything as far as the square footage, he just has spread it across two separate buildings.
Because of the terrain of the site.
Yeah.
Is there a code issue with respect to having two driveways on that property? Or is it okay because they're on different streets?
There are different streets that's permitted.
That's okay. I think this is one of those things where they're making the best out of a kind of a funky situation. I agree that, if that 400 square foot garage was a beater,
Yeah.
I'd be like, take it down and build a deep, big garage down
Real
below.
nice,
But
yeah.
Unique.
but if it's, the character of the house and he's not adding, another 800, 900 square foot garage, he's just adding,
Yep.
enough to make it the conventional garage size, I think this is
Yep.
something that there's just making the best of a weird site.
Yeah, to me, it's a big property, you know, that garage is unique. You know, the slope of the property is unique. There's a lot of unique things with this property. I think that's the hardship for me. And so I'm in favor.
I move approval as requested.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance for the Uncle property on University. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak also for or against this property? All right. We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
4-1. You're okay.
Thank you.
You got your variance. Okay, we need to talk to Mr. Erfurth of Mach 4. You're Mr. Erfurth?
I am Matthew Litchfield with Mach 4,
All right.
and I'm here on behalf of the owner. The site that we are looking at is at the southwest corner of Mason and Main there. The owner is looking to renovate the large building and the building in the northwest corner there, along with all the pavement on site. We are looking to resurface and/or reconstruct it. And in this process, we'll be adding a lot of landscaping, curb and gutter, ultimately decreasing the amount of impervious surface on the site. The variances that we're looking for, the first one is the dumpster pad near the building in the southwest corner is in the frontage, and the hardship with that is we're looking at frontage on 3 sides of the site, questionably 4 based on, you know, how Main Street plays out there, and based on the locations of the existing buildings, just location in general for where we can put that dumpster pad that'll still allow garbage truck access. And with that, you know, the location that we put it in, you know, like I said, with garbage truck access and minimizing traffic disruptions. And the other thought was to put it in this location, we can keep it as far away from both Mason Street and Main Street, which will generate your highest traffic flow in this vicinity. The other variance that we are looking for is the pavement setback along August Street. We're updating the pavement here to meet current code with drive aisles and parking stall depths. And the reasons for this pavement being in the setback, you know, when we implement the landscape islands, we're going to be losing a few stalls up in the existing areas. And then with these extra stalls, we can also improve functionality for the lot with adding minimal changes to the site. And along with that, we'll add safety to the area by allowing more parking stalls on site rather than having to park on the street. I hope you see my reasons for this variance, and thank you for your time.
I do have a question for you. This is important. Is the Mexican restaurant going to stay?
It is.
Yeah, I'm losing my parking space when I eat there, though. I usually park right behind the building on the northwest.
Oh, right on the corner there.
Your dumpsters are already back along August Street, so,
Right.
I mean,
And we've got a building, adjacent building that's
Yeah.
actually on the lot line.
yeah,
So, I mean, encroaching on it with pavement is
I think that
not an issue for me.
parking lot definitely needs to be attended to.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah,
does.
for sure, for sure.
And that's what, you know, with the resurfacing, you know, for the most part, we're just going to, you know, touch it up, but there are some areas that we need to improve the drainage on, which is where the reconstruction aspect comes in.
Further questions?
You said it's gonna be less permeable, the area?
We're gonna be decreasing the overall impervious space, yep. because of more
Decreasing the
permeable.
impervious,
Yeah,
okay.
So
I heard you.
adding green space, yep.
Okay.
Punching more holes.
And obviously with that, we'll be adding extra landscaping and touching up the overall area in general.
Based on the
drawing the current, so like there's a current greenery on the current lot on August Street. Is that part of it? That's going away?
It's gonna reduce.
The pavement actually encroaches past that setback already about 1.5 feet now, and we'll be pushing out another 7 feet or so to allow for those extra parking stalls along August Street.
So down here, this structure stays?
Yes,
This greenery here all goes back down closer 7.5 feet?
correct.
So, but then you're adding more green space throughout the lot.
And right,
Hence, that's what you're talking about with it's too close.
yeah.
But it's already, currently, the concrete is already 1.5 feet in too
Exceeded
far.
into- yeah.
Okay.
Into the setback.
Got it. What is the, I mean, is there a point of view of the city of having that? Is this just a look thing? Is it a safety thing?
It's an aesthetic issue, it's a green space issue, just a basic setback that applies to building and paving.
Further questions of the applicant?
No.
You can have a seat, sir.
Thank you.
I think this is a good idea.
I didn't think it's significantly improving the site.
I would have a hard time figuring out a reason not to.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's swapping something for something. You're getting some more green space back. Yeah, you're going closer to the street, but overall improving the site in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
getting more greenery, even though you're reducing a little bit and going a little bit closer, but, I mean, it's a triangle lot.
If the applicant had proposed to push up against Mason Street or Main Street, which is going all the way to the front, then I might have some concern. But August Street is,
Very quiet.
it's not a busy street, it's not something I think is.
I move approval as requested.
Is there anybody that can say?
Is there anybody here to speak against this before we get too involved? All right, I think a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variances requested for the property on 2030 East Mason Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. You're okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Bednarski, come on forward and tell us why you want a variance.
Just trying to be difficult, that's all.
We're used to that.
Oh. Okay. The owner wishes to construct a garage and a workshop, and the terrain is what makes it difficult to put this building in back of the existing dwelling. If I could come up here. This is the court, Gothic court. This is the curb.
Right of way.
Right of way. And this would be the setback. You can see that the existing house is pretty close to that setback. Now, we wanted to look at other areas to put this garage, but as we move back this way, the terrain drops off. In fact, right here, you can see that not the apron, but his driveway going into the garage has a retaining wall. And it's like that. And there's no place to put a building. It gets a little wet down here. And what we want to do is play off of his existing drive. We want to position the building so the longest dimension, the width, is not
Facing the street.
facing the street. We want to lessen that interference. Furthermore, this house is a beautiful house. It's all brick. was good enough for Brett Favre. He lived there at one time. And the brickwork is beautiful. So what we want to do is copy the brickwork for this garage. If this were a yellow metal pole building, I would even be here supporting it, believe me. If you could turn to the, like the elevation.
Oh, I didn't put those on there.
Oh, you did? Okay, well, that's all right. What we did was we looked at the dwelling. There's a row lock, a couple feet up along grade. At the eaves, there's eave trim and some, I wouldn't call it ornate, but some pretty nice woodwork to offset the brick. And we would be doing that on the garage construction. So the appearance would make this building look as though it belongs to this building. As you can see, we just don't know what else to do with the garage.
Could you explain the rationale for why it's proposed to be as large as it is?
The owner likes to tinker with vehicles. It's his hobby. This is not a business. He wants like 3 stalls and some room for repair work. He likes vintage cars to literally park inside and work on while he can. It'll be heated. It probably would even have a toilet inside for working. So it's not a cheap little garage. It's a good solid structure. Slab on grade, 2x6 stud construction, not 2x4 for the sake of insulation. Wood trusses. The roof pitch would not be as steep as the pitch on the existing dwelling, because that's almost a 12-12. This would be more like a 10 or so, but it won't be flat to look commercial.
So there's never a garage before, there's never been a garage on this property?
There's an attached garage.
Oh, there's okay. I missed
Yes,
that.
this is the attached garage
Okay,
with a little studio apartment above it.
okay.
And what he wants to do is construct this in a minimal intrusive way as possible to the neighborhood. As you're driving around, you would probably see the corner and not the full elevation. It would be full brick here, here, and I believe back here as well, or at least a good part of it, with the proper, I would say, ornamentation and brickwork as what this has. We could do some landscaping. The building would not be obtrusive to the neighborhood.
Is this pretty isolated? I mean,
Yeah.
not a lot of neighbors around or?
Well, there's neighbors.
Oh, okay,
Sure.
okay, there's that.
Sure, here's the property.
Yeah,
It would go like this.
yeah,
So the closest neighbor would be this one.
okay.
And even with putting the garage somewhat parallel with the driveway, this neighbor is not getting the full frontal view either. He's getting a corner shot of it. We would love to move it further back, but
It just falls away too fast.
it falls away really fast. So it's a large site, but not a lot of it is usable.
This was originally 2.5 lots, that way I'm interpreting here.
It looks that way. It's like here, here, and then I think this was purchased later.
Is the neighbor on the far left there, has he weighed in on this issue?
As far as I know, he has. Mr. Vogt knows this person is aware of it. As far as I know, there is no objection.
Is there anyone here that wishes to speak against or, for that matter, for this property?
Again, this is not a typical little garage. It would be a well-built brick even to match this house, as close as we could.
Further questions?
Are those woods, is that protected, those woods, are they semi-public, or are they?
It's
are
all
they
private.
It's private to what I understand, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about what happens back in here, but as far as these woods, it's private.
Okay, I think we have what we need, sir. Thank you.
Did you live in Commonwealth?
Yeah.
So we've
I was
got,
carrying now.
he's actually building that 1,900 square foot garage in what would have been another lot.
Right.
Yeah, there's a couple lots. So 117 would have been a lot. As it was originally platted, 117 was a lot, 118, then half of 119, and then they added some property back here from another land transaction. So they've been kind of cobbled together over the course of time. So it sits on one lot. I mean, suppose 117 could be a buildable lot, but again, it's probably severely limited by the terrain that's there.
It's deceiving. If you go there, I mean, but it's a beautiful site.
And the one corner is about 25 feet off the right-of-way.
Right.
Yeah, 25, and then another 18 feet to the paving, the curb.
So because this is a detached accessory structure, it's supposed to be set back 55 feet from the right-of-way line. Instead, we're looking for 25.
Again, because of the site.
Precisely.
That garage on the property next door, Paul, do you know how far back that is off the right away?
This one here,
Yeah.
I'm guessing 25 to 30.
Oh, and that's attached, so that's okay.
That's attached.
Paul, quick question, just to clarify. So for us to look at this, this is one complete lot? Or is it two separate lots that happens to have common ownership?
It's one tax parcel under one ownership.
Okay.
They just combine the parcels through the years. But it's
Copy.
one parcel.
That's why the line is dotted.
Right, it just shows kind of the history of how it was originally platted, but it's under one tax parcel, the 6H-4075.
Got it.
So to me, I understand the topography limits the location of the garage. So for my purposes, I'm fine with the intrusion into the front setback. I concur. The question is, how far do we go with the 1,900 square feet? And I guess what helps me justify it is that there's a lot of room there, and there's an extra lot. And we're proposing to put this in, but it's gonna look pretty nice. I'm pretty sure that this wouldn't be going in if it wasn't gonna be.
Are they exceeding a square footage?
Right, so the plan commission reviewed this last Monday, and they reviewed the area
Yeah.
from 1,000 to 1,900, and also the height of the structure exceeded 16 feet, so that was a requirement of the conditional use permit.
So
That's
they're-
pending,
So it's pending?
that's pending, that's
So
going to
they-
council tomorrow night.
Oh, I see, that's right. But the plan commission was okay, or approved, or whatever, nodded their heads up and down.
They recommended approval,
But that has to go yet to the council.
right, twice for approval.
So that would take care of the other issues here. We've just got to deal with the setback then, if that goes forward.
The way the code is written is some goes to the plan commission, some goes here. So this is just a pure setback issue from the right of way.
I would-
So it's on here as the application as a size thing. You're saying we don't care?
No. Based on the title heading, I think we just had it as
the variance.
front yard setback.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, then,
Yeah.
I would be in favor of, approving this subject to approval by council of the conditional use.
Correct.
right.
So I would move to approve the variances requested, subject to the approval of council of the other items.
Second.
Perfect. Yep, Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve conditionally
Based on the topography of the site.
the proposed property on Gothic Court, the variances as requested with the conditions. All in favor? Aye. 5-0.
Thank you.
Next up is Barbara Noggle.
She's not present. She asked me to step in for her.
Sure, come on up.
Thank you. I'm James Sackel with SLS Construction Services.
Explain the variance that you need on this property.
It's 11:31. She's asking, as she enters her driveway, she's angling, and almost hitting her house. Not usually coming in, but backing on. So it's a narrow lot by the way it's positioned. So her garage is compromised at this point, so she would like to see if we could move it 30 inches and then add existing 6 feet.
So not all the way to the lot line?
No. No, leaving 14, or approximately 16 inches there. There's a fence there, so it's, varies a couple inches. So at this point, she's not comfortable backing her vehicle. She's not even using the garage at this point because she's struggling to make that angle.
It's very,
Very tight.
Yeah. So she's hit her landscaping and everything here. So many times she's afraid to park in it.
So the setback is supposed to be, for this property, 2.5?
2.5.
Okay, so you're proposing to go about 6, 7, 8 inches in.
Basically.
All right.
I want to add on to the back of it, she wanted a garden shed that didn't make real good sense. If she could combine the build to add some space, it would give her a little more.
So is it addition to the existing garage, you're not reconstructing the garage?
We are going to reconstruct it. We're going to leave some of it up, but I got to pull the roof off of it.
So Paul, I always like to be clear. The only issue is the side setback.
Correct.
And the side setback is supposed to be
2.5.
4 feet?
2.5.
Okay.
All right. Further questions regarding this property?
Let's see that.
What's the rear yard setback requirement, Paul? I'm sorry.
4 feet.
4 feet.
And there's a pole and a tree back there, and that 6 feet would give her enough space for her additional garden and deck, chairs and tables and so forth, instead of building another separate structure. So that would make sense for her, so.
And based on its proposed, Paul, the back setback's fine, everything's good except for that one wall on this picture to the right side, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how off is it from the actual deviation? You said approximately a couple inches, like
Well,
5, 6 inches?
The difference between 2.5 feet, which is 30 inches, and I guess 16 inches, so he's proposing to come in like 14
inches.
Okay.
But the drive would remain in its current location, that would not be expanded.
Driveway remains, very much
Already
the
16
blueprint, height.
So it's gonna line up with the driveway, so it'll be 16 inches off the property
It'll-
line?
Yeah, it'll help
There we
that
go.
way.
Okay.
And then the existing structure really has no gutters and so forth, so we'd like to divert the water a little. And match the
I was
house.
listening to the earlier. Right, and then the other option would be to like completely tear this thing down and move it somewhere else in the whole yard, and that just
Right, it would eat up most of the yard.
Eat up most of
You know, on these little smaller
What
lots.
were people thinking back then? Huh?
Get them up quick.
Smaller cars.
Smaller cars, I guess, and there was only one, of course.
I mean, that would be the only alternative solution, right, is to move it back and have them enter from the side versus the front, right?
You
You
could
know what I mean,
take
wrap,
off.
you know what I mean, wrap, that would be the only way.
Yeah, and then you're building the whole backyard. right?
Yeah.
Then we're gonna have impervious surface issues or
Yeah,
something like that,
probably
because you
not.
got more driveway.
Yeah.
I think it's, the petitioner's probably done the best they can with the site, and I think that, you know, having a garage that's useful to you is probably something that we
I
ought
think-
to keep in mind.
I suspect we're in violent agreement on this one.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to, you can stay, sir, and listen to the good news. And seconded to approve this variance. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak against it? Very well, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0. You're good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the Georgia Pacific temporary property.
How you doing?
Good, how about yourself?
Good.
Excellent.
So my name is Chris Brennan. I'm one of the public affairs managers over at the Georgia Pacific property at 1919 South Broadway. This particular location recently celebrated 100 years of manufacturing. In recognition of that, we've been doing some internal celebrations and some external celebrations recognizing the achievement. What we'd like to do is we'd like to install 2 temporary signs. One of them would be on the corner of Lombardi and Broadway, and the other on Broadway and Jones Avenue. These 2 buildings are both ours, and the reason we're here is that the city requirement for signs is 8 by 4, which is about 32 square feet. But given the size and the scale of these buildings, we'd like to propose a 40 by 20 sign. So first off, from a size perspective. Secondary, we'd like to leave them up for the remainder of the year, given the anniversary year. At the end of this year, we would probably remove them. So those are really the 2 reasons why I'm here this evening, is to get approval to adjust based on the size and the scale of the signs.
So what will the banner say? Just like solid?
Typically, it might look something like this. We had, in fact, we utilized the electronic billboard at Holmgren and Lombardi. But it was something around kind of recognition, kind of a thanking employees. We might also have one that recognizes the history and thank Green Bay for the history. We've got a few different variations, but again, we'd like to utilize our anniversary logo and also recognize the Georgia Pacific component as well.
For the next 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Anyone here against it? Yeah, does anybody wish to speak against this proposal? Does anybody wish to speak for this proposal? I have to ask this because I know we're going to have some interesting questions later on. Any further questions of the applicant? This looks like one that...
The only thing I would say when we deliberate, and we can do it now if we want to be speedy for
Sure.
time, but he said probably taking them down. I would think that we would ask to be taken down at the end of the year. Because we've done this in the past for temporary signs, and they've been removed. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
but they're probably maybe nervous.
We will take them down by the end of the year.
Yeah, so we would, I think we would put that in our approval.
Yeah, I think the thing too is when we're looking at something like this, these codes weren't written for buildings of that size.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're envisioning a smaller structure, they're reasonable signage dimensions for houses or typical commercial office building, not a huge wall of a factory building or something like that.
It is temporary.
Yeah. I mean, we've done it for
Yep.
we've done it the other large property in town.
Yes.
Right.
All right, a motion would be in order.
Our motion approved with caveat that it's taken down at the end of the year. It's temporary.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the signage asked for by Georgia Pacific. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're good. 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, Jeffrey and Deborah School?
You get the impression that Everybody's here for the last item on the agenda here.
Yeah.
Or this one.
They're not here for me. I just have a porch.
Does anybody wish to speak for or against, the alderman will help you out, we will not forget that.
Yeah, let's hear from them first.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's my neighbor.
Oh, all right.
She was here to speak for me.
I'll speak afterwards.
Okay, all right, very good. Without further ado.
All right. We live on Elmore Street, 1147 Elmore. And we had a 5x5 cement front porch in the front of our home that the sides caved in, crumbled in. And it started kind of sinking off of the house. So we removed what we thought we could keep portion of it when we were building. We weren't able to because once we started taking it off, the whole thing literally fell apart. And little did I know it was full of sand. And the sand just kind of pushed it all out. So as we were building it, we weren't able to maintain the full structure or 50% of the structure at all. And we replaced it with a little bit larger of a porch, 5 by 9,
Yeah.
10,
Less than 5 by 10.
less than 5 by 10. And the reason that we went larger when we replaced it is my sister had a stroke and is committed to a wheelchair. And we're the only house in the family that she can get into. So we bring her to our house to get her into the assisted living facility, and we only have 25 feet of front yard. So there's really, for the height of our front door, and we're not in a wheelchair, neither my husband and I, so I really don't want a permanent ramp on my home. Even to put a permanent ramp on my home, we would have to zigzag because of the dimensions. So what we had done is we had built it so that the steps were wider so that two of us could assist her in wheelchair up the front steps. And we could actually be able to open the door and have room to stand to get her into the home, was the reason we had done it. Anything else?
So this new construction is in, so you're in kind of,
A conundrum.
yeah.
Yeah, we, like I said, we tried to keep the portion because I didn't understand, and I apologize. We will pay and fine whatever we need to. Tried to keep the portion, but we couldn't.
Yeah. We lost a couple of evergreens.
And really big ones that were gigantic. So really honestly, pulling out of my driveway, I can see clearer now with this, rather than it blocking my view.
We weren't planning on taking more than 50% of it apart, so that's why we didn't
Oh, I see.
get the permit right
I
away.
see, as you
And then once
got into
Once we
it.
got into it, everything just kind of disintegrated. The top fell because when you first come out her door, when you step down, it was like
Yeah, it was.
very bad, where, I told her just to put boards over it, not walk on it, until we got into the construction part of
Tell
it.
you what, just
But once
jump
we
down.
started taking it apart, that's when everything just crumbled and disintegrated. So being an existing, it was my fault, because I'm the contractor, that I didn't look further into it, and seeing that it was more than 50%, so we didn't have the thing. And we couldn't, when we looked up, we couldn't find anywhere online how big it had to be, and I was saying that it has to be a 5 by 5 is your max,
Yeah, the only place that afterward that we could find anything was where it's actually written on the back of a form. We couldn't find it anywhere, and let me tell you, I have cross-eyed trying to read your codes, and I don't know how you guys do it, because, I was trying.
It's in a table, you're right.
Yeah.
So I guess to be clear, the reason they need a variance is because that is bigger than 5 by 5.
Yes.
And it's an encroachment in the front
That's-
setback.
Okay.
So 5 by 5 again, is a policy the city has to allow for egress from the structure within the setback. If it exceeds that, then that's.
Okay, so it's within the setback, that's why we allow 5 by 5, no problem, but, okay.
Administratively, we would issue the permit on that case. But again, here, there's not a permit to react to, and
Yeah, we got the permit and everything ready to go. If everything's approved, we got everything ready.
Could
The
go to
depth
property
towards the-
overhead? Yeah, there.
Paul, or maybe you know, so I'll call it a deck for lack of a better term. It is coming out further, so it's not only the size, but it's also coming in closer to the front setback.
Right, so
as well.
if we drew a line down that block of homes, that is outside of that.
Oh, so it doesn't matter at any point?
No, well, here's, if it
I
were.
measured our neighbors, it's not.
At the point where it's at, going out beyond the setback, it's limited to 25 square feet. So it's 20 feet over, 20 square feet over the size.
And
If it had been behind that line, then we wouldn't be having a
There's no
conversation.
question.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Is it, if I'm going towards the street problem? Because I can go 1 foot wide this way.
We didn't bring it
It's
out
a problem,
any
it's
further.
probably a problem either way.
Okay,
If you go over that 25 square feet, then it becomes a problem.
okay.
But it
Yeah,
didn't,
it's
we
not out
didn't bring it
further
out
than it
further
used to be.
than it was.
That's
We
what I was
went
trying to
5 feet out.
Yeah.
We went wider this way.
That's exactly what I was trying to get at. So basically, it's just
So that
this
you-
part.
So that you could
Right.
help somebody get up the
Right.
stairs.
Correct.
Correct. There
So
we
we,
go.
it's still the same width.
Yeah, we didn't
It's just
change the
the
width.
steps went like a foot
Yeah,
wider.
the same depth, it's wider though.
You can see
It's
that one
wider and
picture
we
where
widened
the
it
steps
this
come
way so
down
we
there
can
right
get
at the same
rid of the
spot.
Seems like the neighbors on either side of you have kind of the same thing.
Identical.
So,
Get a street view.
is there an allowance to allow this to happen?
Yeah, there you go. You can see
Or,
both.
Yeah, I'm done.
or would they, if they would have done this beforehand, would have had to come to get the variance to go wider?
Yes.
Well, they should have gone through a permit process.
Well,
first, so
yeah.
we should have had a chance to review that. If it was 5 by 5, we could have issued a permit on it.
Right,
If it was
but-
bigger than what was proposed.
Right. So you would have said you'd have to get a variance for that?
Or you would have flagged all
Okay,
these issues.
because they need to go wider to get a wheelchair up on both sides. So that, you wouldn't have permitted it, but you said you could come here and get a variance.
Well, we don't say that necessarily. That's up
Okay,
to the
okay.
property owner to decide their course. Either they could have remedied it by
Tearing it
getting,
up.
you know, getting a permit and making it 5 by 5.
But, yeah, but, okay.
So you don't need a permit unless you're taking more than 50% of it apart. And we didn't know that until
Oh.
after it falls apart.
Right.
So you, and, you know,
I got you.
I think we're trying to repair it and it just
Yeah,
failed.
yeah, and then they went ahead and fixed it. So when I look at this, though, I mean, it looks like the house to the left there has got the same sort of configuration already. It's got more of a deck than a porch.
And the
I guess
house
the
on
one
the
on the
other
right, I
side
would
does
call
the
it a
same thing.
porch, the one on the left, I'd call it deck in front. This is the same thing in this house that they're building now, and that other one is, you know, certainly bigger than 25 square feet, but the houses from the aerial all look to be about the same setback, so, I don't know, this is kind of like a 6-1 or half a dozen another issue for me.
I'm okay with this. I just want to ask a really quick question, but for the sake of time, we can punt it. Remember that thing we were talking about with, like, you were talking about, like, handicap rules?
Administrative
We could talk about that after the meeting. I've got a response for that.
Okay, because that would fall within that in theory, right?
It would have to be an ADA ramp.
We'd have to be a ramp.
Accessibility, so we can.
Got it.
yeah.
Okay.
I've got some more
We'll punt
information on that.
for now. Fourth quarter. Okay, I'm okay with this.
Go ahead and make a motion.
A motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested by Ms. School on 1147 Elmore. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0, you got it.
Thank you for your time.
Is that subject to them paying the permit fee?
Oh, yeah, we're
That's
definitely
a-
doing that.
Well, administratively,
Don't worry about it.
Whatever. We have a,
I concur.
Oh, sorry.
we were in such violent agreement that we
No, that's
just
fine.
got going, so.
Thank you.
Did a nice job.
Thank you.
They were all here.
There were some people here. Well, anyway. I assume everybody left wants to talk about Burger King.
Sure.
Or not. Or not, okay. The way we'll do this, folks, is for those of you who wish to speak, we'll have everybody come forward that wishes to speak, and I'd like you to identify yourself. We may ask you to point out properties, that your location of property, that we can, so we know what we're speaking of. But just for the record, since we do have so many people, I do want you to say your name and address, and then we can go on from there. Anybody that wishes to speak will get a chance to speak. Yes, ma'am?
I'm the alder in District 6, right over in Mrs. Alder Stevens.
Okay, we have two alder people here then. Good. Tommy stepped out for just a bit. When he comes back, we will resume.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry.
Associated Bank.
That's right. That's where I went before. Yeah. It's like, oh, the people. Exactly. Get out when you can.
That's the quick
So associated
That's a
is
quick
a-
trip to the right there.
Okay, we'll start,
Associates on the next one.
start to listen to the applicant first, who's here to speak for BK Capital. Okay, who do we have before us tonight? Could you all identify yourself?
Fritz Heat. I'd be the building contractor.
Okay,
I'm Tom Prevost, I'm the building owner.
okay.
I'm Todd Waller, I'm the property developer.
I am Jim Lundberg, civil engineer.
All right. Okay, well, we have four qualified people here to speak regarding this, so one of you can take the case and explain why the variance is required.
Sure. I thought what we would do is have Jim kind of start off just from a ordinance perspective and walk through the requests that we have and the reasoning behind it. He's the technical guy, so I kind of rely on him to elaborate on some of these rules and that we're, working with. So Jim, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so the two ordinance variances that we have at hand are related to setback and related to buffer. The setback, what we're requesting is along University Avenue, the building setback is 15 feet, which would include the, what's referred to as parking area as well. So we would have a... This area right here, right? Correct. As it relates to the setback, the two variances are somewhat related but different. But as it relates to the setback issue, we do have a proposed drive-through lane circling around the entire building. Excuse me. And so for traffic flow, for emergency vehicles, having access around the entire facility, that drive-through lane is important to the business and important to traffic flow on the site. Also, in order to meet the 16 parking stall requirement for this particular facility, we are providing that number of stalls, which restricts the size of the development. The second one is the buffer along the south property line. There's a 15-foot buffer required for adjacency to residential for the transition. What we're proposing there is, as I stated, a bump out bypass lane for the drive-through, which would provide for traffic bypass, and again, emergency vehicles would be able to access around the entire building. We've, I think, accomplished the essence of what the ordinance is meaning, and from an aesthetic and landscaping standpoint, I think what we've provided in the landscape plan attached is a substantial buffer along that south property line to screen that residential neighbor. And then as far as the setback, the restriction to the width of that particular parcel and allowing for a drive-through with a bypass. anything else to add?
No, I think you summed it up all pretty well.
Yeah, and I think in this new layout, there's gonna be more green space than currently is there.
Right.
More impervious, or, just green space.
Is there an issue on the right-hand side where you're apparently right up to the property? Is there a setback issue in there?
There are two commercial properties together, there's really no setback requirement.
Okay.
And I feel like the main variance that's probably, you know, the biggest issue is on the south end of the property. Some of that pavement encroaches, of course, on that setback, requiring the variance. The cars and the drive-through stack that you see are not in that setback zone. What we've proposed, I hope, is a substantial improvement from what's there right now. Right now, there's an existing fence, and we proposed, you know, a thick row of evergreens, which, you know, we can choose any size that will also, you know, be a screen for the, you know, all seasons.
That's a good thing to note. The requirement for the landscaping is 4 feet tall, which we're able to achieve 1 tree and 5 shrubs every 50 feet. So, as I stated, I think we can still meet the intentions of the ordinance with that level of landscaping.
Paul, could you show where they would have to stay out of, or how they would accomplish the buffer if they were going to do it? What does the ordinance require? Because this is a transition from commercial to residential.
Right. So this is kind of the break point right here. So this is commercially zoned here. This is low-density residential. So when you have a non-residential use adjacent to a residential use, it has to be a 15-foot transitional yard. So that 15 feet would be measured from the property line this way. And then you have the fence, hedge, or berm in that area and the plantings as well.
So the idea would be that there's no construction in that buffer area.
True, just green space. It acts as a transitional area to a buffer, so to speak. between those
So it's
two
not
uses.
not even surface, road or something like that?
Zero pavement.
Yeah, okay.
Everything is pervious.
And what's the narrowest dimension there from the bypass lane to the lot line?
I'm not quite sure. It looks
I
like this
believe
is
it's
about 12
6.5
feet.
feet.
Yeah, I mean, this is about 12, so 5 or 6 feet there, it looks like.
We don't anticipate that being being utilized very frequently. I think it's there more for circulation, for safety. I don't think on a regular occurrence, people are gonna go into a drive-through stack and then drive around. It's not a means of egress. The circulation of the site is actually very good, the way that it lays out, leaving multiple points for ingress and egress.
If I may comment, I met with Paul and his constituents 4 or 5 times. We talked to him, we met with him a few times, and we started out with a different area, let's put it this way. We had a lot of variance we would have to apply. We kept adjusting this. This is like our 5th transition into this. And if you look where it's at back there, the only thing that's really is the bypass lane in the back. We're very conscious of the house behind us, and we'll do anything we possibly can to make it notable. If you look where my speaker is in my drive-through, it's over to the far right-hand lower corner. It's like 30 feet away from the lot line is where it is. There is a garage behind me there with the fence that again is by the landowner. The house is in the far left corner, in the far front corner of it. So we're doing everything we possibly can to try to dull the noise and keep it down. I do understand, and I understand all the people here tonight, I understand there's some concerns, and I'd be more than happy to address any concern anybody has. We were told, or I was, after conversation, we initially had it further back on the south side by the residential. We pushed it as far forward as we possibly can to get away from the residential, to make it more, well, I guess, to try to comply all the way around. We are limited to parking because of the requirement. We've actually taken the building, if you look, it says Rock 40. A normally building that I would build would be called a Rock 60, which means there'd be 60 seats, give or take a few. This one's a Rock 40, it's a smaller version to try to get more, less seating inside the restaurant. One thing I will tell you is I own 18 restaurants. I've been doing this for 51 years. And I can tell you this, that my drive-through percentage for all 18 restaurants is 67%. So the majority of the customers will be coming through the drive-through, is what it will be, okay? We tried to get a double drive-through on it, which Burger King actually wants us to do, but it just didn't fit. And after talking to Paul, we decided to scrap that idea and go with a single lane and try to get the people out. And I really believe this will work very, very well. I know there's some traffic concerns out there. We did meet with the traffic gentleman, and I can't think of his name right now, with the city. And the only comment I will make on this, and I'm sure there's going to be more concerns later on, I understand there's more concern about what we're bringing to the area. But my philosophy is the reason why we came to this area, I've looked at University Avenue twice in the last 30 years, okay? And I can tell anybody where we were going. We came out because the city's redeveloping that area, and there was a lot of traffic, so it's good for a restaurant, basically is what it is. I do not believe we're going to attract more business there. I believe we're going to utilize the customers that are already there. There's a lot of traffic out there. And I would say the majority of the traffic there are going to be stopping. I don't look at our place as a destination where people are going to be saying, I'm going to drive a mile to come to Burger King. Again, I have 7 others in the Green Bay area. So I don't think the traffic is going to increase. It may increase somewhat, a little bit on the side road maybe, but I don't know. I don't know about that, but I don't think there's going to be, an extra 400 cars a day because I'm bringing a Burger King there. And that's my concern.
Okay, could you go back to the plan, Paul? That's the drive-through to pick up Burger Kings, right, in the lower right-hand corner. I got the impression that somebody was trying to minimize what that was. It's not just a lane for fire trucks to use in case something bad happens. That's your pickup.
I'm referring to the bypass, an extension of that.
Okay, maybe
The
somebody
city
could.
requires a bypass lane. Go ahead, Paul.
So the ordinance requires a bypass lane or emergency lane, we call it.
Okay.
So if you're in the drive-through and you have an emergency or someone needs to respond, you can get out
Okay.
around the traffic. So they've gone out of their way to create that
So
lane here.
the point is that it's wider than it needs to be a drive-through.
Right, so if we eliminated
Shows
that
my,
bypass, then we
wouldn't
would
have the
need the
problem.
variance. That's where the fence is.
Well, you would need 3 feet, right? It needs to be 15. Is it 12 right now, you said? That top part before it's.
Well, the bypass would have to be at least 8 feet, I'm guessing, and that can vary in width, the emergency lane.
But your buffer that you want is 15 feet.
That's what the code requires, yeah.
And that line that's coming off right now at the bottom on the left side, the white section before it comes down into the, is 12?
I see what you're saying.
That's
Is
12,
that-
that's 12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and which I guess we can slide that
3 feet.
3 feet.
Yeah. But I get
So
what you're
it's-
Then we're getting a little further into.
No, I know, but it's one of those things,
Yeah.
which one do you want? If we say yes, do you want an emergency lane or do you want
Right.
15 feet,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, we are shutting off one entrance that's currently there right now. Just
That
north
hatched
of the
area.
Peters, that bottom Peter Street entrance, we are closing. There's a curb cut there that'll be,
That's the top one in that picture?
yeah, it's not being utilized, but
Yeah.
it is a curb cut that'll go away.
So, may I, and if, forgive me again if it was covered already, what is the current structure there? What property is that? Is it unused or?
No,
that
it
corner?
is.
It's a
That's my
former office.
daughter's property.
It's a what?
Dr. P's optometry.
Oh, okay.
Is an
Is it an optometrist building?
It's been
Okay.
empty for a long time. Yes.
It's what?
It's been empty, vacant,
The corner lot?
yes.
Okay, cool. So that would get raised?
Right.
Okay.
It's a good area, and, it's this census tract is an opportunity zone. And I think the idea behind that is to promote, mindful development. The new prototypes that, Burger King and Starbucks and McDonald's and these other fast food restaurants are building right now are highly attractive, high-quality materials, Nichiha panels and brick, and the landscaping's very nice. I mean, it's not what it used to be. So I feel like it's you know, if it weren't for the variance, it's a permitted use in the zoning district. We feel like it's consistent, you know, with what's happening in the area. You know, with Quick Trip and Festival, and I do see a slow transition in that corridor to uses consistent with this. I think is healthy.
Is this going to be open 24 hours?
No, we will not.
Could you,
11?
we'll get to public
Okay.
afterwards. Could you explain the Plan Commission's deliberations on this?
Right.
And if you could also explain whatever traffic may have said.
Yeah, so the Plan Commission saw rezoning last Monday, and that's still pending as well. So this property has a highway commercial or C2 zoning, that permits the drive-through restaurant. This has a C1 zoning, and this is the subject area that was proposed to be rezoned to C2. So these two parcels combined would have that same zoning district to permit that
Oh,
use.
so Dr. Pease's little office there was a C1? Oh, I see, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so they have combined these two parcels.
They
one of
haven't
which was a
combined them
C1.
yet. That's still pending. The idea is just to get that corner piece rezoned.
So that was what the Plan Commission did as far as the zoning. Okay. And what did traffic say? Because you, in the newspaper article, it said something about you were going to talk to traffic questions about this?
Well, we've talked to the traffic engineer, Dave Hansen, about this. Tom has mentioned before that we've met and we brought him into the conversation early on. It's really about the positioning of the driveways. There isn't other traffic concerns necessarily from that site perspective. It's about the placement of the drive.
Okay. All right.
What is that big property to the right?
That's Quick Trip.
That's Quick Trip?
I don't have a current aerial of that, but that's.
The car wash is just to the right of.
Right, and
This-
Festival
this-
Foods
this
is just
subject
beyond
property.
that. New Festival Foods.
It's all too new over there right now. They
Google's not updating fast
satellite
enough.
pictures haven't gotten to it yet.
I don't know if it's, I guess I'm struggling with the question I'm gonna ask, but I'm just gonna ask it anyway. The point of this restaurant, as you proposed, was to drive-through traffic, correct? I mean, that you're reducing the footprint of seats inside because 67% of your business is through drive-throughs. You're looking at traffic through the area. It's not a destination sit-down place, correct?
I can't guarantee that, but I can give you the average at 67% with all my restaurants, and I will guarantee, I don't have a restaurant below 65. So I'd be willing to bet you that this one's probably gonna be 67 or greater.
Or greater, right?
Or greater.
Yeah.
Is what the.
And that's what you're targeting, right?
That's what we're targeting.
Yeah, and so,
But I can't tell you how many are gonna come inside, I don't know that for sure. I'm guessing that 40 seats would be more than adequate on the inside.
but the goal from a flow perspective, right, according to the drive-through, is they come in off of not University, but the side street. So they come off University, turn right onto the other street, and then turn into the drive-through down here?
Well, not necessarily, because you're right, a lot of them probably will, but you can also get in off of University. The parking lot, if you look in between, Paul, I can't see whatever it is, there's a lot of room in between the parking stalls, so you could come in, take a right turn on University, come straight to
Sure,
the
come
back,
straight down
and
and
go
then
into
turn
the
right in.
drive-through lane.
Okay.
Okay?
That's
So
fair.
you could get in both directions. The same with the exit, when people come out of my drive-through lane, they can go right on to University, or if that doesn't work, they choose to go down Peters, they can go to the back half of the lot and decide where they want to go.
Sure. It was, and the reason why I asked, and I don't want to like stir up anything, but it was, I would think the goal for you is to absolutely increase traffic, right? Because that makes your business more successful, more people going through the
Well, for
drive-through.
me to get part of the traffic that's already there, yes. I want to get more and more customers, that's a goal, of course.
But I think
You're capturing the
Capturing
existing
the-
traffic.
No, yeah, but people flowing through there, whether it's through University or out Peters, is absolutely an intended
We need a
goal.
flow, there's no doubt.
Okay.
That's the reason why we keep changing the plan. We don't want it to get bottlenecked. Somebody has suggested that we have another curb cut on, in one of our meetings together with the city and stuff, have another curb cut straight off the drive-through lane on the University. But that just wouldn't work. Just for the simple reason that if it did back up and University is so busy, you'd be dumping a lot more cars on University. It could back up the entire drive-through lane. So we want it to flow all the way around. We believe this is a better flow for the customer, basically, and for
Because that
us.
was gonna be one of the things I was gonna say. Could you put it over there and just make it go in and out of University? But you're saying
that, because University's so busy, people turning right, hopefully not left, but maybe left out of that are gonna back up, and now you got people sitting in the drive-through not able to exit because they're
And
waiting
you'd
for traffic.
be bottlenecking your entire parking lot is what you'd be
And so
doing.
you're allowing yourself a little bit of like, you know, buffer on the left side up top
Correct.
to allow those cars to kind of, got it, okay.
Correct.
So have you considered, in your terminology, a Rock 35 building?
Burger King doesn't have a Rock 35, they really don't. We're trying to convert this down, but that is the smallest building that's available, it's approved for us to build from Burger King right now. As a matter of fact, they just updated recently where they've now gone to a bigger Rock 40, where the size of the building's bigger, and that's the problem. It really is.
So you as the franchise owner are
Yes.
entitled to change a building size?
No, I'm not. I have to, everything has to be approved through Burger King. There's 4 required buildings, 4 approved buildings right now that Burger King will allow me to build. There's a Rock 60, a Rock 40, and a Square, and I forget what the 4th one is. But that's all I can build, period.
So if you want to put something there and it's Burger King, that's your choices.
That's
No-
pretty much my choices. I'm not saying I can't cut a foot off and try to, maneuver a little bit if we can. That's the reason why we've gone down to the 40. It's virtually, and Fritz, I don't remember exactly what this is, but it's not that much different than a 60. I want to say it's like 7 or 8 feet maybe only.
Very small difference.
Exactly, so there really isn't that much difference, because we're limited in kitchen space. We need the size we need to handle the customers, whether I have 40 seats out there or I have 60 seats, I still need the kitchen to produce food. So that's limited in size. The only thing that really shrinks is your dining room, basically.
So you wouldn't be able to go to Burger King and say, I just need a smaller building here, but I'm sure I can do well with it.
I actually did something similar to that with this particular site, because Burger King's hotbed this year, and McDonald's and everybody's doing it, is a double drive-through, okay? We actually drew this as a double drive-through, but the double drive-through took care of that escape lane for one thing. And in this site, this isn't conducive to this, so I had to get special permission to do this, okay? And get it approved. And I did get it approved with I got that approved. The building itself, I'm just very limited to what I can and can't do.
And let's call it the little jog down in the lower right-hand corner, is the requirement for this extra wide lane for safety reasons. Is that the?
Correct.
Is that the argument here?
An escape lane, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, okay. I do recall that from another one now that you bring it up.
I think Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes.
We actually had a drawing, and Paul corrected me on it, and we just had the back of the building where the 3 cars that are showing on there right now, which are 3-car stack, by the order station could come around, and then we doubled it from that part forward, which then would take us off of the back setback, okay? But Paul informed me that that car in the middle, if something happens to him or her, they need to get out. The front 2 cars, the front and back cars can go forward or backwards, but the middle car can't get out. So that's the reason why we had to put that, there. And rather than go all the way down the lot line, we just started it there, so we could, we have more green space, plus we didn't want to infringe on the back any more than we had to.
Is this, obviously by the zoning, this is consistent with whatever long-term plan the city has for development along University?
It is, right. So the planning staff recommended approval of this request as well as the plan commission.
Of the rezoning of
Of the
quarter
rezoning,
parcel.
which is going to council tomorrow night. It still requires 2 readings, 2 council meetings to get approved.
Is there a reason they're here now instead of after that's been confirmed, or?
Just
Probably a timing issue, I
going in
guess.
parallel, so you can,
Right.
if everything goes forward, you get your construction going as
With
soon as
with the
possible.
scheduling of the council meetings during the summer months, it's really challenging, so this is an opportunity just to run them concurrently, so to speak. So you may want to consider, if you are going to support this, there may be conditions related to the zoning as well.
Just have one question relative to the site layout here. So we're looking at variances from both the front University Avenue setback as well as the rear setback.
North and south.
So, and we've got 5 feet on the rear, and it looks like our minimum distance is about 5.2 on the front. But it does look like there's a couple of feet available for the front yard building setback. I'm wondering if, you know, if it were a push, since we've still got another, you know, I don't know how many feet before we get to actual pavement or curb, you know, could all of this be shifted north just a little bit so that we would make the front yard with that lane to the lot line even smaller than the 5.2 that it is now, and give some of that area to the back side between the bypass lane and the lot
I
line.
believe, well, Paul, please correct me if I'm wrong. Paul suggested that we push everything to the front as far, and I believe there was a 5-foot setback, Paul, you told me, off of the lot line, and I think we're maxed out to that point, forward towards University, I believe.
We're at 5 feet 2 inches, which you can't see, but.
Yeah, I can see it
You
on
can see,
here.
okay.
And we also tried to get the green space. If you look around the building, we have green space all the way around the building, so we wanted something in there if we could. If I you know, cut some of that out, I could try to show out, maybe a little
What
bit,
you're
but
trying
I'm
to
not
get
so
at-
sure it's going
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
To make sure I understand what you're trying to get at is go as far, since there's two problem areas, but one is more in terms of the residential transition, you're saying push that as far as possible up.
Yeah, push
So
the
that you're
drive-through
lessening
lane as
the
close to
problem.
University
Yeah.
as feasible, so that you add more buffer on the south side.
Well, how far can you go?
But again, I'm anticipating some of the neighbors' questions right now, and maybe they're all gonna be fine with the buffer area and be more concerned about other issues, so.
Sure.
we
Yeah,
should
well,
wait until-
I think that's where my wondering was too, is I can tolerate the variances on University. I'm a little less tolerant of the variances of intruding into the buffer between a new commercial development and a residential neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you need a variance on the north end, you need a variance on the south end
Right,
regardless. If we shave a couple feet off the north, I don't see an impact to the site to give away on the south end. From a design perspective, I think it's possible.
Well, if I can remember the numbers right, you're 12 feet off the back lot line before you get to the escape lane, and you jog down in the lower right-hand corner.
So then you've got the 50 feet to go up 3.
So, you know, if you could push it forward as far as you can. What is the other limitation, Paul, assuming we're willing to be real flexible on the top?
Limitation as far as,
How far can they go? To the north.
well, you can go as far as, you could relax it as much as you wanted, I suppose, but then you don't want to have pavement up on the sidewalk section. You want to have some separation for pedestrians as well. I mean, there is a swing here too. I mean, it's tight as it is, but you're having vehicles coming out of that drive-through and they got to swing. You don't want them swinging out over the sidewalk necessarily, so there should be some separation between them.
Is there a curb planned on that side of the thing, so they would have to go
Yes.
over the curb
Right.
to that point? Okay. It is a tough, I was thinking, that's a tight, it's more than a 90-degree turn there.
It'll be tight, yeah, as it is now, and pushing it even further north. which is
And not going out.
intensified.
Out to you.
I don't have any other questions.
Anybody else have any further questions?
You know, and I think on the south end, just, you know, being thoughtful with the landscaping and really creating some density there of evergreens to block and remediate those concerns, I think would be a drastic improvement in terms of sound and light insulation from what it is right now. And I think Tom too can speak to this, but maybe not to go down this path, but you know, he wants to be a good neighbor. The city is, these are his customers, right? So, you know, maybe not to go down that path now, but I guess we have a willingness to you know, do what we can, and we've really tried to.
I can tell you this, I have a site plan, which as a matter of fact, I'm not so sure on this one, that I believe we can achieve 15 feet off the back lot line, at least for the portion without the bypass, or come doggone close to it. So I agree, we shoved it as far as we can, and I have a plan, I didn't think it was 12 feet, I thought it was 15 is what I was told, but we will shove it as far north as we possibly can. As Paul said, though, my car's gotta be able to turn out of my drive-through lane. That's a concern.
This was the best balance of safety and function and right.
Yeah.
It's 12.4.
Okay, if you could have a seat, gentlemen. Okay, who else would wish to speak for or against? Yes, sir. Come on up.
James Vandermeer?
Yes, if you could come forward.
I live in 553 Peter Street.
Okay, so you're,
Up the road, well, just off the little, the map which you have there.
oh, so you're down below?
Yep.
Okay, but you're on Peter Street?
Yes.
Okay.
The majority of the houses, therefore, people leaving, going back to their home to eat from this place, are to the west. Taking a left-hand turn out of Peters or that driveway is near impossible. Which means everybody's going to go down Peter Street. I'm not okay with that. The smell is something I wish they could do something about as well. I have enough stomach issues, adding nausea to it is not gonna help. That and the traffic, I don't know, the garbage, anytime you put places with foodstuffs near houses, there's a critter problem every time. Yeah.
Okay.
Just the smell, the traffic, the noise, the garbage that goes along with it, people driving along, dropping their cups out the window or leftovers. I mean, there are literal, just empty buildings sitting down along that development, a little farther along, that could be used just fine. I don't think it needs to go there. And I don't think that, because it's in the last open street into a quiet, sleepy little neighborhood, it does need to be zoned the way it is, or the way they're trying. Don't need that kind of traffic coming into what is really one of the best little neighborhoods left in East Green Bay.
Okay, thank you. I guess for the benefit of the board, Noel probably understands this better than I do, but what we've had on the east side, I've lived within walking distance of this the whole time I've been in Green Bay, 45 years. What the people that live around here are going to be concerned about is that they've cut off a lot of the access to University from the neighborhood to the south, principally because of Quick Trip and Festival. And the folks along Peters have a reasonable concern about having the traffic come up from Preble, up from Peters, into the Burger King and out, or going the other direction. Peters is like the last good way up. Now that some of the, you can see in the corner there, some of that's been cut off. This is an old neighborhood that was originally part of town of Preble, I believe. And I guess my sympathy lies with these folks because to a certain extent, the redevelopment of University Avenue and all of the stuff that's going in has been done on their backs. And I can appreciate some of the concerns that they have. But I do understand that Peter Street, I did walk through here and walked all the way down, and I'm pretty familiar with the area, but it does seem like a problem. And you're saying, Paul, that traffic isn't concerned about that?
Not about the
Okay. As it, even though it's going to create a bunch of flow through that?
I think from a trip generation problem, they're not as concerned, they're more concerned about the safety and the placement of the drives.
Oh, really just the driveways and stuff? Okay.
What's the concern about the driveways?
Proximate to Peter Street, being able to get visibility to enter and leave in a safe fashion.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it any closer to University along there.
No,
so-
it's pretty close as it's proposed
Yeah.
too.
Okay, ma'am, did you wish to be the next speaker?
Yes, please.
Could you come forward and give your name and address?
My name is Janine Bellin, and I live at 601 Fred. This is my property here.
Okay.
The Quick Trip is here.
Mhm.
The car wash is here. The Quick Trip is here. Okay? So, would be adjacent to this property. Right now, my concern too is the garbage. Where are your dumpsters and that gonna be? I get, right here at Quick Trip, they have a blocked-in, like brick, wherever they have their dumpster, I don't know if it's waste management or whatever, who comes and empties that garbage. I can see right from my living room, they dump it, I've addressed it for them bagging the garbage. One of the, managers there of these kids that are working, they're not bagging it. Because when it dumps, it goes all over the place. So that is one of my biggest concerns. As far as what they did here too, there's, between her property and my property, there's a fence that goes here. There is like a, probably anywhere from 8 to 9 foot gap in there where garbage collects here as well. I shut up my yard because Quick Trip put the fence and left my yard open, that there was people coming through, cutting through. I had the fence closed in now to my vinyl fence that was existing. So I had 2 pieces of vinyl fence that connected to Quick Trip's fence now. It's closed in because I had people coming in my yard in the wintertime cutting through because they didn't want to go all the way through to Quick Trip's entrance here. But as I said, the traffic is unbelievable right now. I'm shut up here on Fred Street. So I have to go down and go around Clements, Baston and Clements to get out. When I come home from work, I work in the industrial I-43. When I come home, it's on Mason and it's down University. I go to the intersection to try to turn left to come around and go on my street here, Fred. Almost impossible. You don't get an arrow. You get a yellow arrow and you have to fight the traffic going east and west on University. That Burger King there is going to increase, the traffic. You're going to have unbelievable accidents. There's accidents already in those 2 controlled intersections there. So I'm just warning you, there's going to be a lot more going on there than just getting burgers. And for another thing, the smell. I want to have my windows open in my house. I don't want to smell Burger King from morning till nighttime. I already smell the chicken from Festival and whatever Quick Trip is doing. So I've been there 26 years. I made an exception to take this driveway and that from Quick Trip when they cut off the road. I took possession of the road because the city didn't want to maintain that little nub that was in front of my house there. So I maintain that driveway, I maintain all of this property here along there from the garbage that comes from that. So I'm just concerned about more garbage, more traffic.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Yes, ma'am. Could you identify yourself and your
I'm
address?
Carrie Anderson. My property is 612 Peter Street, right next to
Right next door. Okay.
next to the property in mention. The picture that they showed, that's my house 2 years ago. When I moved there, it was a foreclosure, and with my parents and things, we had fixed it up. I have a fence, like they had mentioned, which was not in the picture, along that whole side because of the same thing Janine had said. People were walking straight into my backyard. I was there raking, and there they are walking right by me. And so put that fence up to try to deteriorate that. I also have a chain link fence, 5 foot, between Quick Trip property and Janine's, basically right there, for the same reason. But I wanted it to be a chain link because I knew that Quick Trip was putting up a wall, like a little fence between our property. I think there's 10 feet between us? And they had put some landscaping there, but I didn't want it to be where these kids and everything are behind there and playing where I can't see and they're getting into trouble, So I wanted to have it so I could see that. The thing that I'm concerned with is this place that I bought is very affordable for me. And I'm a single mom, and it took a lot for me to get a place of my own.
We helped her purchase it, and we worked 6 months.
I realize this is a business property, and I understand that, but I also feel like I would like the respect of any kind of property owner to not be so close to my property line. I would like where I would have it where it's still nice to look at. I mean, I redid the landscaping in the front. The door was kicked in when I moved in. We put new doors, everything. The inside, walls, ceiling. I mean, I'm trying to explain this because I'm very proud of what I got. And I don't want to have to move. I don't like the idea of having to live next to Burger King. I'm a quiet person. I don't have, a lot of, people over and big loud things or anything, so I'm kind of concerned. I was worried about the Quick Trip, but it's tolerable, because the car wash is here and my property's here. And like I said, they were very nice to put like this big mound of hill with trees and everything, so I don't have that building right next to mine. So it's still nice, okay looking. But being that there's going to be this busyness and everything, I'm not going to feel as comfortable in my backyard, So, and also the traffic is terrible. I work at 6 o'clock in the morning, and to even get to turn left on University is almost nearly impossible. I have to go down Peter Street and then go up, and then go turn on Dan's to get on University where there's a light. Now, there's that light over there by Quick Trip and Festival where they turn. People are taking chances, like she says, when there's an arrow, there's plenty of times that, almost got hit, or I've seen somebody almost get hit with their, trying to just gun it. And they're going from University, and I have my bedroom window open even last night. I heard like speeding. I mean, you can tell. I mean, it was loud going fast. We got speed bumps on Peter Street to try to deteriorate that, but it's not helping. It's almost like it's telling them, let's go on that road and let's speed, let's see if we can go over those bumps. I mean, it's really, that's what it feels like. And I think if people really, realize what we're having to go through, I am worried about the garbage. On my other side of my fence, I'm over there and I'm picking up garbage all the time from Quick Trip and everything. People are walking through Dr. Pease's property and dropping things. So I'm over there and I'm picking up things between the lilac bush and everything because I want to keep my area clean. I don't want it to be trashy and stuff. So I have a lot of concerns with trash and, yes, the smell. And why do we want to bring that to our neighborhood? We're trying to make it better. So anyway, that's what I have to say.
All right, thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak? Sir?
Steve Dimmer, 554 Peters.
Okay.
Traffic, it's a zoo. City truck went up Arch Street the other day with the speed bumps. He was going 30. Truck with a lift gate on the back, bottomed out. That's a city guy. There's other cars, like they said, drag race, or not drag race, but racing up and down the speed. The speed bumps are a toy. They're fun. People are boop, boop over the damn things. Try to get off Peter Street onto University and go left. No, you can't. Have you guys sat down there and tried to drive through this area once? Go take a look at it, see what you can do. Associated Bank, you can't get out of Associated Bank and go left. You have to go right, come back up Peter Street and get back around and go back where you gotta go. It's just a zoo. And you're gonna put a Burger King there and it's gonna be more traffic. People are gonna come up and down Peter Street. You're gonna get the kids from the school coming up, garbage all over the place again. It's not right. Put something smaller like a medical building, dentist office or something. Go down the road farther down University, that way there's plenty of room for Burger King. You guys gotta think about it.
Thank you.
One last thing.
Yes.
Speaking of that, about that Associated Bank, there's people that they park in front of my house and then they walk to the bank because they don't want to have to go on to University to get in and out because they're in and out. I'm not kidding. I see it all the time.
We'll get to me.
Yeah.
I know why they walk.
Yeah.
Well, they don't want to be seen on camera.
No, that's not it. Because
we
there's
blocked
traffic.
the parking lot from Associated Bank that they didn't go through my parking lot to get to Peter Street.
Okay, because I see that more than a lot.
Which one is Associated Bank? Just the left.
For the
big
far left.
Yeah, so that big,
Like
right there.
right here.
Yeah.
Paul, for a point of clarity, and again, just for clarification, difference between C1 and C2?
Yep. C1 is our general commercial, so there's a retail, offices, restaurants can go in there. C2 is dedicated to auto-related type of uses, so gas stations, car lots, drive-through restaurants are permitted in there by right. So
the one on the right currently is zone C2?
Correct. So the immediate corner is not, it's currently C1, so we needed to consider rezoning that corner as a package to combine the lots to have that be a permitted use on that
No.
site.
And again, maybe out of scope here, but is it possible to build a drive-through based thing on a slight lot that size nowadays?
It all depends on the design, sure. I mean, it's a
It just be a
possibility.
tiny kind of.
But it's difficult with two lots to function as it is.
That's what I'm
So
saying,
It'll
so
be a
even
real
one.
challenge, right?
Yeah, wow, okay.
Put a Starbucks there.
There,
That's what I
that's
said.
what I would like.
Lots of small coffee.
How did this lot here get to be C2? This was empty, this was Terrell's. I mean, when I lived there, first moved in, this was like a framing place.
There used to be a bar.
Well, before that, it was a bar, but it used to be this Terrell's
Used to be a bar.
candle place, and it burned to the ground. So it's been burnt to the ground for 26 years.
Do you know the, do you know the history of the zoning on
I
it?
don't know the exact history, but I suspect it's been there for years.
C2 for a few years, but it's been vacant under that same thing. Okay. Cool. Sorry, there was another.
Can I speak?
Sir.
I spoke last week and in concert with everybody else in the traffic. My biggest concern about this area is when it snows and we have these cattle trucks coming from the slaughterhouse.
Could you give us your name and address?
Kim Anderson. I'm 2865 East Shore Drive.
But that's his,
But I am the father of the daughter that is adjacent. But when these vehicles, whether they're cars or cattle trucks, see that these lights are green, there's two lights here, they see the 70-mile-an-hour speed limit sign, they're damn well doing it most of the time right there.
Mhm.
And that's what makes it hard to turn left. And I've often gone in here and come in at a reasonable rate off University, and I've had somebody cut in alongside me and speed up past down Bump Street. But you know, I end up turning here, but when I'm trying to come here and turn, I've often got a car trying to knock me off. So there's just a big tension of traffic there.
What's the difference between the Starbucks and the Burger King?
Well, Starbucks are
Footprint.
smaller, for one thing.
But I'm talking in relation
Oh.
to traffic. I didn't catch
Well,
the distinction.
you don't get as heavy a flow with Starbucks. And you get a different kind of.
Substantially heavier traffic.
Yes, different clientele.
But that's
I
a
mean,
good
not
point.
that I have anything against
What are
Burger
your
King.
hours gonna be?
So
I do go to
What's that,
Burger
I'm sorry?
Does anybody else wish to speak, sir?
What are your hours gonna be?
Well, right now, Burger King requires me to stay open till midnight every night of the week.
From the
No.
time they open till they close?
Oh, we would open at 6 AM in the morning is what we do. But, let me clarify here, okay? I'm willing to be, to just do whatever it's gonna take. I will open even less. I'll close at 10 o'clock at night, maybe stay open on the weekend. I'm flexible here. Believe me, I want you as customers, I'm not looking to irritate anybody. I'm hearing a lot of stories about everything we're gonna do. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with all of it. Garbage, we pick up our garbage. I can't control if a customer walks down the street and drops it, I just can't do that.
Right, that's the-
But I will make every effort to make sure, especially the property behind me, you're saying. I can show you a store in Appleton, I used to have the guys circle around the block and pick up garbage. Now, I can't guarantee that's gonna happen, but I will make every effort to take care of that. If there's a problem, I will do it. I want you to come into my restaurant, that's the bottom line. I'm not trying to irritate anybody by going there. I also believe that whether I go there or a bar goes there, you said used to be there or whatever, you're gonna have some issues, okay? And that's a concern.
Yes.
And I'd love to be your neighbor if I can. I can't guarantee everything, but
Well,
I'm
you're
gonna
not gonna be
try.
my neighbor, I live on
Well,
East Shore Drive.
well, okay.
But I mean, you're my daughter.
Well, that's fine, and I would love, and I understand her concern, I understand all of your concerns. If I can adjust, I will. If I have to adjust my times at night, I will try to do that. Burger King requires me to do this, okay? Doesn't mean that I need to do it, I can fight that a little bit to the best of my ability, okay? I would probably consider closing at 10 o'clock at night. Weekends are the only issue I may have.
It really doesn't matter. The Quick Trip is open 24/7.
Are they really?
So you being open is not gonna make a difference. I mean, they have the car wash usually, no one's in there after 10 o'clock, but the Quick Trip is open. And you know, it's busy.
Well, I know with bars, you know, there's a lot of bars on that street and so on, and I know they're open later and so on. I'm not sure what bar time is, I'm never up that time of night.
No, I'm next to my 10
house.
o'clock.
They're not next to my house.
Well, that's true.
So that's
mine
the
is 10
difference, 'cause I
o'clock.
understand.
Mine is-
So I would try to close earlier if I can. I can't guarantee
We'll
you,
get a minute.
I can't guarantee everything, but I certainly will try and I'll listen to your concerns, I really will. Garbage, hell, I'll personally come and
I'd
get
like
it.
to,
I guarantee someone's gonna drop
the
garbage in
gentleman in
here,
the
I can't
front
stop
seat.
that, I really can't.
I know.
As far as dumpster, you mentioned, I have a closed-in dumpster that's all block.
And where are the dumpsters
Waste
going
Management
to
will
be?
pick it up, they come twice a week. I'm sorry,
Excuse me, where are the dumpsters going to be situated?
right behind the building,
Right.
right on the other side of the drive-through lane.
So you
There's a
know where my
line right-
daughter's, you know where my daughter's
I know
garage is?
exactly where she is.
Okay,
So it's actually
By the garage.
shares a sidewalk with the front entrance of the building.
it wouldn't be
so-
up
I can show
against
you one
her,
there.
her driveway?
No, it'll be right here.
Okay,
This would be, I'm sorry, Paul, you got it? This is the dumpster right here. My drive-through lane is here. This is the dumpster.
okay.
Which would be
Can you
almost 40 feet
explain now
away
where,
from where
now
you
where
live.
my daughter's property is, like where her driveway
She's right over
is?
there.
Okay. And where would her garage be then?
You can see
The
it.
building's-
It
the
says-
building's on there.
It says building right above Green Bay, right there.
Right
That's
here's
the
the garage.
Okay, okay.
Her
Now-
house is
oh,
back
excuse me.
over here.
Yes. Now, were you gonna put, now she's got that existing fence up.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what were you gonna add to that, did you say?
We're going to put shrubs all the way across here, high shrubs to try to break down on the sound, basically, is what we're gonna do. My drive-through speaker, ma'am, is, I can't tell up here, where's my lane? Right here?
Okay.
Where's the third car? I can't even see it this close.
Now, this is her garage, so that driveway is gonna be behind her garage and then go,
Right.
are you talking?
Your garage is right here, so my drive-through will start here. You order somewhere here, wherever that, I can't.
That little box right there.
Somewhere in here, and they will go around this direction. You're gonna be at least, well, my speaker is at least 30 feet away
So
from the
this
garage.
is your building up towards Quick Trip?
Exactly correct, and push this way towards
And
you.
then what do you call it, the parking area would be right in this area?
Exactly correct.
So now, the only concern I have, getting out of her driveway,
Okay?
okay, now, where is your,
My driveway is right here. Coming off of this. gosh, oh my
No,
God,
your
you're
driveway's
right.
it's so hard to, I can't understand.
Karen, the lilac
It's
bush is
here.
right by your
It's
hand.
right in here.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah, our
15
driveway
feet
is
off
right
here,
next to that.
15 feet off of this is your driveway, well, the lot line. The lot line's 15 feet from the edge of my driveway,
Okay,
basically, and then wherever your driveway is.
It's right
from
about
the-
there where your
The
pen is.
lilac bush, I actually think you're further away. I'm not sure if you're right on your
No.
lot line or not.
But that lilac
Okay,
bush.
Paul, do you have the other drawing?
No, Steve.
I shouldn't have.
Okay, right here.
Karen, that
Right
drive,
here.
Karen, that driveway's
Here's
already
your,
there.
here's your
But
driveway
that's
right
not very
here.
big, just so you know.
Here's your driveway, the lot,
Okay.
I believe the lot line is the line, not exactly sure, I
Yes.
think it's right
It's
down
the
here.
existing
So your
open.
And
driveway.
my driveway's gonna be right
It's
about
right
where this
next door.
driveway
It
is.
is
Because this
gonna
is
be-
like, okay, when I mow this, it's from like here
Yeah, that's an old picture.
to right here.
Yeah.
This is that little bit of land right there between my driveway and that driveway, so that's what that looks like. And yeah, this is an old picture.
Let's maybe just
Yeah,
back,
that's when we bought the house.
let's back up a second, because I think you had a concern.
Just to
that-
answer a question, I'm gonna be here, give or take a foot or so, somewhere in there. Where that existing one is where we're going.
Perhaps we
And
could
you're gonna
hear
be-
from.
Might even be shoved a little bit further north, actually.
And you're
We could
gonna
push
be
it.
back right in here, then, you say?
I'm gonna be, right, but we're in the back half of the lot, pushing as far north as we can.
I'd like to hear from the gentleman in the front, so if everybody else will
Yeah.
sit down. we
You're
can hear.
really
Yeah.
using that loosely. So, my name is Dan DeTemple. I own, with my family, the building directly across the other side of Peters. So, issues we've had in the past. Here's my building. Big empty lot here, building. If you go to the other picture with the parking, every time, no, the one right before this, every time they come out this driveway, they are flashing my building. All their lights, 6 AM, all winter long. They are not gonna like it. This is my business too. You are gonna affect my business.
Okay,
My driveway, if we go back to the aerial, my driveway is directly across from yours. My people are gonna have a hell of a time. This, in the wintertime, is gonna be all ice. This up here, when you're talking about pushing this, your stuff here, when the plows come across, they're gonna block your drive-through out.
No. What do you mean block? I don't understand.
Go back to, this one.
Oh, it's.
So, your thing is right here.
Gotcha.
When the plows come across, if you push this out, this is gonna cease to exist, because the plows are gonna bury it in snow. So, do you know how you're gonna get a plow around this thing?
I can tell you that I've been there last winter. I've actually been there the last 2 winters,
Yep.
okay? And I know exactly where your property is. I believe, if I'm correct, and I'm not arguing either way, I think that you're saying they're gonna get the lights, you can show the other one, Paul. Get the lights, the opposite one, please. This one here. Coming out of this driveway, I'm pretty sure it almost meshes up. Your driveway's actually a little bit more this way, I believe, with your building. So the lights are really gonna shine in your building, it's gonna shine in your parking lot.
All of them that are coming this way are gonna hit my building.
Okay, well, I agree to disagree.
Okay.
And coming the other way, plowing snow in the front, when I was there all last year, this sidewalk was open. It was, matter of fact, I helped a gentleman that was in a wheelchair on the other side by the bank.
Yep.
He was trying to get out and couldn't, so I parked it and went out there and helped him. And he went down the road, and the problem was, this place, the sidewalk was not plowed, like you're saying. It was full of snow, so he went on the road, and I
Yeah,
told him
that's
not
just
to, but he didn't listen to
scary.
me. He scared the
Put
hell
them
out
on
of
my
me.
sidewalk.
Well, that scared the hell out of me. But anyway, the point being, whatever the sidewalk is, we will shovel the sidewalk ourselves, is what it is. And if I have to, we'll bring a snowplow. I don't want it there any more than you have. I gotta get rid of my snow also. And generally what we do is we shove it to the corners. If it gets too much, we actually have it hauled away.
Well,
That's
I'm
what we do.
thinking you're gonna have to have it hauled away a lot,
It
because
could
your lot is full
It
already.
is small. I agree with that.
Perhaps we could hear from the older people.
So, last thing,
Do you have one more point, sir?
absolutely. Noise. You got cars idling there, you're wonderful and everything like that, but you're talking 67%. If this building is open for how many hours, how many cars are gonna be stuck here, you are gonna be smelling exhaust all day long.
I know.
These people, same deal, depends on which way the wind is blowing. And horns, and kids talking all night. And, I don't like the idea simply because it's a commercial building in a residential neighborhood. I agree with you guys. There's plenty of places to be that's not there, that you can have all the footprint you want.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to hear from both of the older people, or at least one of them, if they'd like to speak regarding some of the issues we've heard.
Can I do one other thing?
No, I'm listening to the older people.
Kathy LaFave, District 6. I'm actually University, I'm right on the other side. But I do go down there, and with Quick Trip and Festival, the traffic is horrible. It is. And I don't think, that's the reason that I would say this is not a good fit for this piece of property, because the traffic. You've got Peter Street, that's slow street, all those people, they can't get out on University most of the times. They have to go up and way around if they want to even go down that way on University sometimes.
Exactly.
Your turn lane for Festival and Quick Trip is very close to where he's going to be having his driveway in. So he's going to have people trying to come in and people trying to get over. I just don't think where you're trying to put it, I don't think is the right fit. That's what I'm saying. Not against Burger King. If it was a bigger lot and you had a main thoroughfare coming out and in with a light, fine. But are you gonna put another light there? You're gonna have a light on University, a light there, light there, light there. I go up, another light. I mean, when I go through there, sometimes I have to wait for 3 lights just to go up University to my beauty shop. I mean, it's getting very
Raised some good
constructive.
concerns. I realize you guys are gonna have to deal with a lot of this issue at least twice if there's 2 readings, but I appreciate your commentary. My lead-in was that these people are paying the price for the development of University, and I'm a little sympathetic.
And it's not that these people just moved in, these
Yeah.
are well-established neighborhoods. And,
Before they were even in Green Bay.
Yeah, universities could be coming just, it's horrendous with traffic.
Okay,
And
thank you.
that's the one thing I think we have.
Alderman Stevens, did you care to say anything?
I concur with the same thing. I think our number one issue there is the amount of traffic. I'm not against the Burger King. I don't think this is the right fit for Burger King to be at this location. I think if they went on the other side by Rothy and University, they would get a bigger lot. And I think, I understand the business side of it. You want your customers to come. Even if it is off of Rothy Street over there, I think they would still get the amount of traffic that they're planning on getting here. But as all the other residents we're talking about here too, it's mainly a traffic concern.
Okay. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak? Sir?
Can I just say a few things? You know, it sounds like the main issue here is the traffic. I mean, I hear that time and time again, and unfortunately, you guys are suffering as a result of not Burger King's proposal, and the question at hand here is the variance to the Burger King. You know, it will likely fit into a permitted use in the area. I heard the word Starbucks. We want Starbucks. So is this a question of being Burger King or Starbucks? I guess my point is that the traffic issue is going to exist and be the same whether that project happens or whether it doesn't. There's still a lot of traffic. There's still the circulation of Peters Street is still going to be a through street. It's still going to be extremely challenging to get out on University. The site is going to be developed. It's not going to be vacant forever. So these issues with traffic exist whether this is a Burger King or not. Empathize with the trash issue. Part of it is it's a vacant building. It's not managed. It's not cared for. Having a thoughtful manager or owner of the property is going to have to alleviate those concerns with trash. In terms of landscaping and berming, we can certainly accomplish that to enhance, what's there right now, without a doubt. With noise, Starbucks is going to generate more traffic, more trips than a Burger King would, and the same traffic issues exist. So it's really hard. I mean, the question here is the variance of a couple foot setback, not what is the zoning, what is the proper zoning, what should the permitted uses be. We can't solve this traffic issue. It's the only point that I wanted to make is that these issues exist regardless, and we can address what we can control through the management of the building, of the property, and then also being conscious of your property to the south, which I totally understand. So that's all I had to say about it.
Yeah, I appreciate the comment. Yes, sir.
Comment.
No, go ahead, Alderman
Sure.
Stevens.
I know that we can't tell a business where they can or can't go. We can't do that as a body. So
Definitely this body
great.
can't.
But my question was, have you looked at other lots in that vicinity that are available?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I looked, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Are you referring on the other side of Festival?
Yes.
The problem is, there's not enough traffic there. If you look, you're offset off the road, your visibility is hid, and it's just not there. The site that we're looking at, we're up front, customers notice us, and customers do drive in when they see you're there, okay? Yes, if I was established there for 25 years, I might get the customers to come back there, but customers like convenience, and that's what it is. It's a convenience site with a lot of traffic. I agree with that, and I agree with Todd said, it's gonna be there one way or another, and believe me, I don't know what I can do about that. Being hid in a corner, it doesn't go. I did look down the road, further on the other side of, what's the,
Nicolay?
no, right, where's, the crossroad there by the stoplights, well, it goes right to Preble High School, what's the name of that street?
Dan's on the-
Dan's, I looked past Dan's on the left there, right past the corners available, a little bit, I believe, and past in the back half of there, I believe that lot there. I did look. I looked at every lot up and down your road, okay? Every lot from where I am, all the way down both sides is the same exact size lot, okay? They're all equal all the way down until you get to that mall.
Yeah, I
yes.
think I'd like to cut off the conversation. What we're headed into here is I can tell it's more of a, whether this should even be a Burger King or not. And that's not what we're here to decide. When you have an issue of who's going to be there, that's who you talk to your alderman about, that's what the city council will decide. What we're here for is to talk about those variances on the front, on University, and on the back along the lady's house here. We can speak to those. We understand the rules by which we can grant variances or not, and that will be the consideration we make. I realize that all of you have some real concerns about how this is going in, what will be the effects of it, and especially what will be the effects of having a Burger King there as opposed to Dr. P's optometry building, for say. But I'd like to address our issue at hand. I wish that I could say that, actually I'm not. I'm very glad that I'm not the guy that has to decide whether Burger King goes in there. That's what your elected officials are for. We're not elected. We're here to try to adjudicate and try to decide whether or not the requirements that the applicant has presented are sufficient for us to decide that a variance should be awarded. And I think I'd like to get to that right now. So gentlemen, what are your concerns and where do you think we should go on this?
Well, Mr. Chairman, looking at this, and while I appreciate the input we've heard from the neighbors on traffic and garbage and use, as you correctly pointed out, those are not the considerations before us tonight because we've got to deal with the request for some setback variances. And that council or traffic commission and others are going to have to take responsibility for some of those other things, as well as the owners themselves and any developer of the site. I'm looking at this bypass lane requirement. That was the challenge we had in a previous instance when this came up as well. That requirement that in the case that somebody's having a heart attack in the drive-through lane, for example, and you need to get an emergency vehicle to help them, is the reason why we've got that double width drive-through lane. Now, the Burger King over off of Main Street by East Town Mall doesn't have one of those. It's an old one. That's a new requirement. I actually kind of wish it had one because there was one time it was handy when it was really icy and I kind of got stuck over there. But if we weren't requiring that of the developer of this property, I don't think we'd be having a conversation here because they'd have that much more area to work with and they would have been able to reconfigure, rejigger this so that they could have moved forward with this without any action by us in terms of the setbacks.
No, can you repeat what the last sentence you just said?
If the city had not required that bypass lane.
Right.
Then the developer of this property would have been able to propose this development in a way that probably wouldn't have required any sort of variance, and they would have just needed the rezoning for the corner property. I guess, and the rezoning for that corner property to make this building happen, this development happen as the petitioner's seeking it, is, that's the use conversation, that's the use discussion at Plan Commission, right? And then maybe at the readings at council where the neighbors can talk about whether that's the right use for that. I don't think we've got a voice on whether that's the right use for this property.
Correct.
And given that there's been a rezoning proposed here and approved by Plan Commission, but is still going through the council process, I think, given this site particular configurations and the hardship that we've created in a sense by imposing that drive-through bypass lane, I'd be willing to support the requested variance, although I would say push everything as far as you can away from that southern lot line. If you can get 15 feet from that driveway, get that and landscape the heck out of it and buffer the heck out of that. But I would be willing to make a motion to approve this request, subject to the rezoning and subject to the developers moving that as far north as they can on the site. Also move that.
Well, hold up. We should probably discuss that a little more.
So we can discuss it under the consideration of the motion.
We can, and if you prefer it that
Just
way.
say it.
If you prefer to structure our conversation in light of your proposal, that's fine.
I think that would be good.
Is your proposal to grant all the variances being requested with the caveat that others have to approve or not approve?
Yeah, I think that moving to approve the variances from both the front and rear setback with the expectation that the developer, gets more north, I guess, I would say go down to 2 feet minimum on the north side so that they can get more on the south side. And also subject to the plan commission and the city council approval of the requested rezoning.
On that note, how specific do we need to get with some of those things? 'Cause I think there's a lot of things that if we wanted to approve, again, I agree with everything Noel said, and I thank everybody here for coming and voicing all of your concerns. It's hard because we're having a conversation about things that don't necessarily fall within our purview.
Right.
Right?
It's not what
That doesn't
it's
take
about for
away
them.
the passion that everybody has for this. But at the same time, it's very important for everybody to walk away. There's other platforms that where those things should be occurring that are for that, you know? So I echo everything you said. To be specific to your approval, the fence issue, right? Like, can we put in approvals like a fence, high shrubs, how tall they are, how
Absolutely.
far off? I mean, how detail oriented
Yeah.
can we be in terms of those things? And
You could
how does
be-
that open up a new conversation?
We can be explicit with that.
It's pretty detailed already in the code, and you can just simply have them meet the code. You're just simply varying that distance.
Yeah, and I'll say right out, I'm not in favor of granting any variance on the south side. Buffer is absolutely needed in this case, and I'm willing to talk about a variance on the north side, but I would vote against any variance on the south. 15 feet is the buffer, and 15 feet is 15 feet.
But the 15 feet can be met on the first half of the property, the second half,
No,
where the
it's gotta be
garage
that in
sits.
the whole thing.
Well, yes,
If I meet
but it's an
one
imposed, no, I understand what you're saying, I just think you said you want to discuss it.
Yep.
I think from a visual standpoint, residential, you're getting that, I just want to make a point to that. Like, you're getting that 15, especially if you push the whole project 3 feet forward, toward north.
At the driveway, but
Yep,
not-
then you get to 15 feet at the driveway on the south side, and for about half of the property, you've got that transition area. The emergency lane, and remind me where we went with, does anybody remember where we went with the Dunkin' Donuts?
We just they had to rework it to make it work.
They wanted to deviate it or eliminate it, and I think the board said, look, we don't care what the width is, but you have to provide some passage for a vehicle to get through, so.
Right,
with
so
that
we
7
have
feet,
to,
8
right,
feet-
so to be
We're not-
consistent.
We're not gonna be designing a drive-through lane, we're gonna be.
No, what I'm saying is that the emergency lane, right, creates that
Well,
buffer
yeah.
on the second half of the property.
Oh, the whole ordinance has created the problem. We're not, I don't see the value in pointing out that this additional drive-through lane was
Well, but that's the
like an
hardship.
additional problem for the applicant.
But that's the hardship, right? Our job is to look at a hardship for someone to design the property in its intentional use. C2 on the right, I mean, I don't know what you can build there, but if the property is to be developed, you're in a tough spot no matter what happens, unless you don't have a physical structure to create any type of C2 property there. I mean, they've added the C1 part onto there to make some more room. He's reduced the building as far possible as he can, to make it make sense. So I think if I was looking at this as a house, the goal is to look at it and say, does the property owner have the ability to develop their property as used, right, fitting within the code, and their hardships created based on that? If this, Noel always likes to bring this up, the street is slanted, right? So if the street was flat, how much more could the property go up, and we get more of that back? So there's imposed hardships based on the property for the goal of the intended use, and I think that's what making this whole thing very difficult, is that it's not officially approved to say this is what it will be, and I think that argument that was made is valid to a point, is that this property will be developed no matter what, whether it's a Burger King or not. I would argue, I don't know if that's true yet, and that's what's making this difficult for me. Because if it was already C2, and this is what it will be used for, a gas station, a C2, high vehicle traffic stuff, that argument comes to pass.
But that's why we make it conditional on
Yeah.
that plan, that approval at city council.
Yeah.
But then if that was the
That's-
case, then what
that's
can go
understood.
there?
That's
You know what I mean? Now you're in that question of what actually can go there without actually having the exact same use, and now we have a corner lot that's just gonna sit vacant. You have trash use, I 100% agree with what they said about having a vacant lot versus a managed lot and trash and stuff, like all of those stuff I think will improve with the corner being used.
The zoning does impact the long-term use of the property, but if it was not rezoned, it still could be used as a commercial property. Just would not have that auto-related side of the business, so to speak. So it could be developed, maybe it's not auto-related type. It could still have all the other general commercial uses associated with it as well.
It
And
could
that
still
goes
be
into
another
what I would
restaurant.
like
Sure,
to perceive
sit
to
down.
be in there, but that's not our job.
Right, I'd like to hear from what Greg and Jim have to say.
But you're saying 15 feet from the south, how do you get that bypass lane in?
It's not my problem.
I'm not, you would
That's
get-
what I'm wondering, what your thoughts were.
No,
Yeah. You're-
my thought is that
15 feet is
by
15 feet.
just, by the very nature of what they've got, and we've got comments regarding reminding us of the smell and other issues, the buffer was put in there for a reason. We've got a buffer between a residential, my gosh, a long-standing residential area too. This isn't even a residential area where people are coming in and suddenly building new houses next to another one. This is a long-standing residential area. That 15-foot buffer that the ordinance has between commercial and residential, I think is absolutely required in this case. And I would not be in favor of a variance on the south side. As I say, on the north side, I think I agree with you. They can go as far as they want, as far as the traffic people will allow. That's a busy street, and whatever makes sense, but not on the south side. That's.
So
where I
your
draw the
concern
line.
isn't the traffic, it's the buffer between residential and commercial.
Right. I'm not gonna weigh in on the traffic. I think
Right.
these people have a concern that has to go to the council. My concern is the impact that the applicant is proposing to impose on an existing and long-standing residential neighborhood. That's what that buffer is for. The council put it in there for a reason. I think that applies, especially in this case. That's my argument on the south side.
But that eliminates the drive-through, right? I mean, we're in agreement
Well,
there.
whatever they need to do, I'm just not gonna grant a variance on the south side.
Or
It's my vote.
vote for one, right?
Yeah.
Could you guys go farther north, or no?
No, they can go a couple feet.
We can go a couple feet.
Whatever they have to do, right? You know, I don't wanna get involved with their
Right,
design.
there, I'm just curious.
Well, the
That's-
building wouldn't move, it's just the drive-through lane. I mean, visually it is, it's within the setback, it's really just, the question is pavement. Should this pavement be 3 feet within the setback? So it's a pavement question per se, not necessarily a building and operations question of is it
Yeah,
too
but
close to the cell?
you're gonna have cars going through there, you're gonna have speakers, there's a, 15 feet is put there for a reason, and I think it, especially in the type of development we're having here, if it were more, that'd be fine, but 15 feet, I think, is important, and I would not budge on it, just as far as my board goes.
Jim, what's your thoughts on this?
I wish the site was zoned, so we were actually voting on a real site. We're voting on an anticipated site that may or may not happen. And so, for me, I'm a little bit, it's like, it's not real yet in my mind. So we're gonna give a variance to a potential zoning change, which is kind of, I don't know.
No, we've given an hour plus of conversation to it, so why don't we give the action to it?
Well, right, I think I'm hedging towards maintaining the 15 foot on the south at this point. I'm kind of in agreement, simply because of the unknowns of what's gonna be there and what isn't, and what's been stated by neighbors, it's not common to have so many neighbors right adjacent to a property that, and I know that doesn't go with what we're looking at necessarily. It's kind of a peripheral concern, but it does kind of highlight what we're giving a variance for. They're pointing right at it. And so I'm giving concern to it. I'm listening to what I'm hearing, you know, I hear it. So, I think I'm leaning towards that way also.
Your motion is for both variances. You may want to
Well,
restructure it
I think,
to a-
yeah, we never got a second on it, so,
Yeah.
So I think.
You
Well,
can
you
pull
want to
it
hear from
back.
everybody before we
Yeah,
move
yeah, yeah.
forward.
No.
So
You
we
can pull
still
it
got-
back
right.
or, but
Sure,
if you'd like to.
well, let's for the sake of putting an actionable item on the table before us. You know, I think, Tommy, were there specifics that you were thinking about in terms of other constraints to get to comfort with regard to, you know, the height of plantings or other things like that, or?
I mean, maybe it was already done and you said it was detail oriented, so forgive me if I missed some of that. There's a lot of conversation that happened, but I do think like the fencing issue, you know, making sure there's a clear fence put
Impervious to
in
site fence.
on the property line to divide those two, to create that clean break. You know, there was talk of a gap that was over to the right near yours in between your properties. Like, I would like to see the property owner do the developer do as much as possible to help these residents out and like cleanly put that in to make them feel comfortable with what's happening in that area. The shrubbery, like tall, I think that's a great idea. So again, these are more compromises that I don't necessarily know of our job to put in here.
Sure.
But if that's what we're here to do and the variance is there, right, and we're approving a variance, then I would say let's put in as much as possible in the variance.
But you can grant a variance, Tommy, with conditions.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to strive to find conditions to force fit the variance. That's not our problem.
No, I'm not saying that, but I am saying that because we're eliminating 10 feet of a buffer on the second half of that property, anything we can put in there that says these things can help improve that perception of a gap, a fence, tall shrubs, anything we can do to create that divide between these two properties, I think is super important if we're going to say yes. That's my vote.
Yeah,
on this.
okay, I think I've got some clarity. Let me just, if I can ask the petitioners one
Sure.
last question. There's a finger between the drive-through lane and the dumpster enclosure. You know, that's 6 feet wide or so. You know,
Right here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, is that a requirement that be?
No, it's not a requirement, but it's basically green space is what it
Yeah.
is now. I need room to put my speakers right here.
Sure.
I mean, we could probably pick up a foot or two, whatever it is.
Okay.
Can I make one additional comment, if it's okay with you? You made a concern about the back half of the residential area back here, okay? I believe right now this is 15 feet from my driveway all the way across to here. Would it be possible, Paul, and I'm asking you, right now you show a 3-car stack, okay? And the concern, if I recall, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you were concerned about the middle car getting out of this. What if we reverse this, move my speaker back to a 2-car stack? The back one could back up, front one could go forward, and then we have a double lane right here in the car, right wherever the 15 feet is, up this way, if they're going forward. You wouldn't have this portion right here, and then we'd be within the 15 feet. And we would sheet everything as far as we can here with a concern, I gotta make sure they can get out of here. That's my concern. And I could shrink up the green space here a little bit if you wish to do that.
It's six feet 3 inches. Can you reduce it to say 4 feet? I mean, that doesn't have an impact. I mean, that picks up to another 2 feet.
We can. If we could even just eliminate this part right here, that would solve the whole issue on the back half
Well,
completely.
again, you know, and the chairman makes a good point about, it's not our job to necessarily redesign a site plan that works, but I guess in terms of maybe putting some constraints on you, in approval, pending approval, so that you've got to maybe rejigger the design in there. And let me try and craft this into a motion in terms of what I think might be okay with relative to this. For the argument I made before in terms of considering the granting of this and subject to the approval of council for the rezoning, I would move to approve a front setback requirement at 3 feet, not to be less than 3 feet, as opposed to the 5.2 they're currently talking about. And a rear setback, regardless of how they ultimately configure the drive-through lane and bypass, not less than 9 feet from the currently proposed 5 feet flat. So another 4 feet of buffer on the south end. And again, subject to the council approval of rezoning action. That'd be my motion.
3 feet on
On the north.
9 on the south.
And 9 on the south.
Heavy shrub.
So you're giving them more on the north? Is that what?
Yeah, so it'd be sliding that a little bit north. And that the driveway be at least, where before the bypass lane starts, be at least 15 feet from the,
Before
from the
before the lane starts,
Yeah,
then they can go 9?
Yeah.
Then they go 9?
Yeah.
I'll second that. Can I add in, after I?
Yeah,
second?
go ahead.
The shrubbery thing, is that up to us, or is that part of the code?
It's part of the code.
So they have to put a shrubbery up a certain height?
Not so much a height, they have to provide a fence, hedge, or berm, they have to provide a tree every 30 feet or so, and shrubs. I mean, those are some basic details I have to provide as part of the site plan.
Just making sure, again, if that's in there, just that section on the right side by the garage, really
Dense shrubs.
dense, higher shrubs.
Like a hedge, not necessarily shrubs.
So we have a motion by Noel, did you second it?
I did.
I'll just say that my recommendation, because this is the way my vote would be, is that 15 feet is 15 feet. These people have got ways to figure out ways to adjust their site however they wish. They don't get to adjust 15 feet on the south side. That's the buffer from the neighbors, that's there for a reason. So I will vote no on your motion.
Do you want to do it?
Take it to,
I will too.
we'll take it to the vote if you want. I'd like to get a sense of where we're going here.
I'm in favor of the motion.
All right, and we'll go forward with the motion. Maybe you can restate it, Noel, because you were the one who put it together.
Maybe the recorder can restate the motion.
I guess I have it as, there's 3 items, right? Council approval,
Yeah.
subject to.
Right.
A 15, or reducing the front yard setback to not less than 3 feet.
Yep.
And then having the 15-foot yard setback be retained, but only for the portion up to the drive-through entrance. And then it can go down to 9 feet to the east property line,
Which is,
with dense plantings.
and it's
With dense
12.4 right now, so they're gonna have to move it 3 feet.
There is no fence.
And you're taking 2.2 off the top, so there's a whole another foot that needs to be found.
That's their job.
Got it.
All right, we know what the motion is. We have it proposed and seconded, so we will take it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. 3-2 is the way I read it. Motion passes.
Thank you all. Anybody who'd like to talk to me, I'd be more than happy to help you out. I really would.
Are we,
Yeah, I think we agreed to not talk about the long thing.
motion to adjourn?
See you guys.
She's got Cheddar Street
Seconds.
right?
Motion to adjourn, second by Noel.
All in favor?
As long as,
We're done.
Thanks,
Thanks, Doug.
I don't care.
We will definitely.
I will give you my personal number.